Chapter 24-24 Shrines Changes in the Imperial Court of the Continent of the Nine Clouds, on a public field of the fire shrine. There were flames all around a sacrificial altar. In front of the altar was a strong cultivator wearing a fire robe. He looked dignified and majestic. There were incredibly strong cultivators gathered around. Qiong Yu's mother was in the crowd. Fierce battles have started. It's at the point of no return now. The situation is really chaotic. What do you think? Asked the presiding man calmly. Everything is going to change now, said someone. Of course, we can read lots of things about the situation back in the days when it was chaotic. There were great changes. Some shrines were destroyed and some others rose. Of course, things change all the time. People have different destinies. Many geniuses rise. Many people break through suddenly. Of course, even more people fall behind and get killed. The leader smiled. Indeed. Some of you will rise too. Some of you will die. You all have different destinies. You've probably heard of what happened yesterday. We know, everybody nodded. I hadn't thought that the legends would be true. All the worlds the shrines have created are connected, and the territories which connect two different worlds are sometimes forbidden territories. It's incredible. These last few years, we've found a dozen worlds connected to the continent of the Nine Clouds. Yes, so there's the Imperial Court of the Continent of the Nine Clouds, which is something different. Then there's the continent of the Nine Clouds and 12 worlds that are connected to it. In those other worlds, there are some incredible influential groups, but still, there is no world that is more complete than the continent of the Nine Clouds. The continent of the Nine Clouds is the best and main world. The other worlds were created by gods. The continent of the celestial stars was created by cultivators who control star strength. They might have close relations to the fortune shrine. We have already sent some cultivators to investigate that matter. We'll see if we can find anything related to the fortune shrine and to the god or gods who created that continent. The world of the celestial stars isn't the only one. We sent strong cultivators to all the other worlds to investigate. We're not the only ones doing that. The other shrines are also doing it. The relationships between all the shrines are complex nowadays. We need to help the younger generations grow strong. From now on, the Fire Shrine's God's picture scrolls should be made available for the core disciples. Elder, I have something to report, a woman said to the leader. What? Asked the elder. Maybe that Lin Feng who has a forbidden body is in the lower world. Can we send a Peerless saint to kill him? Asked the woman. Qiong Lin had been killed, so she understood that without a Peerless saint, they wouldn't be able to kill Lin Feng. The elder's eyes glittered, and he said to the woman, Last time, you told us about the situation. Back then, the shrines even went to the fortune shrine to oppress some young people, but nothing was done to kill them quickly. Now, some of them have already become famous. The shrines made a mistake of strategic importance. The elder said the shrines had made a mistake without feeling ashamed. He continued, but the shrine's leaders didn't think that the world would become so chaotic later. We forgot or neglected what happened 1,000 years ago. The destiny wheel is not a joke. The top cultivators of the last meeting of the continent of the Nine Clouds were really talented. That's why they became strong so quickly. And last time you acted alone, you sent people and you failed. You think the fortune shrine doesn't know about that? They know. Lin Feng's real body has a mysterious strength. Even if we send a Peerless saint, it might not work either. Let's forget about it for the time being, said the elder. The woman's face stiffened. Elder, Lin Feng is becoming strong extremely quickly. He probably has the forbidden body. If we let him become strong, he will overturn the shrines, said the woman. However, the elder just glanced at her and retorted, You think it's so easy for a low-level saint to become a Peerless saint? It's already extremely hard to make one sort of original strength reach its maximum level, so imagine two sorts of special original strength. It's even harder. In the history of the world, nobody has ever managed to do that in less than 1,000 years. We still have time. We need to wait until it's the right time. Just have some people spy on him. That's enough. The woman wanted to say something else, but the elder said, Enough. If Lin Feng has a forbidden body, we'll see. The fortune shrine will also attach more importance to him. Don't you understand these basic principles? When the woman heard the elder, she pulled a long face. How could she give up and let Lin Feng off? We're not the only ones who want to kill Lin Feng, the other shrines want to kill him too. We shouldn't stir up trouble, said the elder icily. The woman shuddered as she understood something. Shrines could be destroyed in troubled times. Thus, all the shrines wanted to protect themselves and their people, as their people were their assets. They couldn't take risks and let their people die. The fire shrine didn't want to take risks and then have other shrines attack them in a moment of weakness. This time, I called everybody together because I want you to do some things. First, I want you to make efforts to teach our young people more things and help them become stronger. Second, I want you to recruit young geniuses. Third, I want everybody to get ready to battle. The world is chaotic and it'll be the same as in the past. It will be a very long fight. The fighting may last for 1, 5, or even 10,000 years. He who laughs last, laughs longest. We understand, everybody nodded. The worst times were also the best. Who was going to use the losers as stepping stones? Those things had nothing to do with Lin Feng for the time being. As the fire shrine thought, there would be chaos for a very long time. No shrine was stupid enough to attack another shrine straightforwardly, and nobody was stupid enough to use their trump cards immediately either. Also, nobody was stupid enough to send their strongest cultivators first and have them die. Therefore, they focused on raising their young geniuses. They needed to accumulate strength. Lin Feng wasn't strong enough to make the whole world change. He didn't have such a power. Those days, Lin Feng stayed in Tiantai with his teachers and his friends. He taught young people about cultivation. The holy city calmed down again. Many people who wanted to become Tiantai's disciples came, but Tiantai didn't recruit disciples so easily. To become a member of Tiantai, the rule was now to become a student at Champion University first, then they had to become core students of Champion University. Only then did Tiantai consider their applications. It also meant that Tiantai and Champion University belonged to the same group. Champion University used to be strong, and now they were even stronger. They had always been respected, so many students wanted to study there. Regarding Tiantai, people admired Tiantai because of Lin Feng. Mu Chen, Emperor Yu and Tianqi were gathered in a courtyard. Mu Chen asked Lin Feng, "Little Lin Feng, you really intend to go?" "Yes. I've been in the holy city for half a year. Tiantai is becoming stronger and more stable. I have left 9 bestial saints here to protect Tiantai. They can protect Tiantai for 1,000 years. They will do their best. I need to leave," Lin Feng told Mu Chen. But now the passage between the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds and the lower world is open. I can come back to see you anytime, anyway. Mu Chen nodded. You stayed here for a while and you did so much for Tiantai. You should indeed leave and do your own things now. Little Qi, are you going to leave too? Teacher, I won't call you great fellow disciple or brother, you're my teacher. Qin Lin is my great fellow disciple or brother. They all left for so many years. I was a demon for so many years too. I should go and travel, said Tianqi, smiling calmly. He looked soft and kind, like in the past. Even though you were a demon for a while, your fellow disciples might not necessarily be as strong as you, you're already a saint. But you were lucky. This time, if you go and travel, be careful. I understand, Tianqi nodded. All right, old buddy, let the kids leave the nest, smiled Emperor Yu. However, he also looked sad. He didn't want the young ones to leave either. Ha, all right, go, said Mu Chen, laughing wholeheartedly. These little boys don't want to leave either. And Ling, she keeps following little Lin Feng everywhere. Tell them after we leave. Let's go now. Lin Feng and Tianqi bowed before their teachers and flew up. Mu Chen and Emperor Yu watched them disappear in the distance. They turned around only when the two of them completely disappeared into the horizon. Chapter 24-25. Original Strength Entity. The two of them flew in the sky. Lin Feng smiled at Tianqi. Second fellow disciple, where do you want to go? Our teachers were right. Even though I progressed a lot, it wasn't in the best conditions. However, after what happened, I understand myself even better than before. I returned to my truest self. Even though I decided to go and travel, Tiantai is always in my heart. I will do all I can to become stronger in this life and honor Tiantai, our teachers, and fellow disciples. I have learned from my past mistakes. Tian Chi smiled. He gazed into the distance, as if he were taking an oath. When Lin Feng heard that, he was surprised. Tian Chi's obsessiveness was impressive. Was it because he had returned to his true self? He didn't understand what Tian Chi was thinking about, but in any case, he felt extremely guilty and was becoming obsessive about it. He wanted to dedicate his life to Tiantai and his teachers now. Lin Feng, you're extremely talented, keep up the good work. Someday, you'll become a supreme cultivator in the whole world. You'll control heaven and earth. Then, even if I can't do everything I want for Tiantai, at least you'll be there. Anyway, now I'll travel everywhere in the world, and I'll go back to Tiantai from time to time. Tian Chi smiled. Then he asked, what about you? Where are you going now? Vast celestial ancient city and Chi Tian holy town. I have things to do there, replied Lin Feng. He wanted to bring Qing Feng back to the animal world, and he also wanted to go to Chi Tian holy town. Alright, so we're going in different directions. We'll see each other again, said Tang. Yes, take care, brother. They both smiled at each other and headed off in different directions. After Lin Feng destroyed the Moon Palace in vast celestial ancient city, things went back to normal and the city became calm again. However, calmness was relative. Different groups continued competing, but the animal world rarely got involved. After Lin Feng arrived in the animal world, he met the third leader. He also got some news from Wu and the others. The third leader was completely stunned when he learned about Lin Feng's cultivation level. Things had changed so fast. But Lin Feng didn't stay there too long. He left with Qing Feng and Jing again. Chi Tian Holy Town was more agitated than vast celestial ancient city. It had a long history and there were powerful groups there. After the continent of the 9 clouds had become chaotic, many people had come to Chi Tian Holy Town. Of course, an important reason for that was that back in the days, a group of strong cultivators, including Lin Feng, had been to the historical remains. Now, the historical remains were filled with strong cultivators wanting to explore the mysteries of the historical remains. Of course, they also wanted to know who those chained cultivators were. Lin Feng arrived in the historical remains, standing at the top of a mountain. Qing Feng and Jing were next to him, looking peerlessly beautiful. Some people looked at them, and others also released their godly awareness to look at them. What's this place? Surprisingly, there are so many strong cultivators, asked Jing. Her beautiful eyes twinkled. She had been practicing cultivation for decades, but she was still only a celestial emperor. She was astonished. Historical remains. The founders of all the dynasties sealed this area long ago, and some terrifyingly strong cultivators were stuck inside. So, naturally, they attract many other strong cultivators, replied Lin Feng. I wonder if we will be able to find answers. I can sense different kinds of qi. They're all incredibly strong, said Jing. Yes, the qi here has become more powerful with time, it seems, agreed Lin Feng. He flashed forwards and landed in front of a gigantic abyssal hole. He could hear the sound of chains coming from within. Back then, Lin Feng had jumped into it to escape, and the hole had collapsed, so it wasn't as dark as in the past. A terrifying demon intent roared out and shot towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng took a deep breath and spat out fire strength, which surrounded the demon qi and destroyed it. Little boy, you grew up, said a gloomy voice. Your Excellency, who are you, or what are you? Asked Lin Feng. He was much, much stronger than back then, but he couldn't sense the other's strange qi precisely. It was just a pure demon energy, but it was also much more powerful than back then. If you break my chains, I'll tell you, said that person promptly. Lin Feng pulled a long face. The ancestors of the dynasties who were saints were strong, but back in the ancient days, they were probably not strong enough to seal terrifying immortal creatures. Who chained you? What do I have to do to break them? Asked Lin Feng. You don't need to know who chained me. And these chains are a seal, the celestial chains of heaven and earth. If you can find the source of the chains, you'll be able to break them, and if you break them, you'll be rewarded. You can't imagine the incredible things you will obtain, said the voice, heavy with demon strength. Lin Feng was startled. The celestial chains of heaven and earth? Who had created them? He had the impression that the stories of the ancient days were even more complex than what the saints of the town had told him. "Let's go," said Lin Feng, frowning. He took Qing Feng and Jing away. After a few seconds, they arrived in a frozen place. In the middle of the area a figure was buried. Some crackling sounds spread out, and the figure broke free from the ice, but he could not move away. Back in the days, I didn't see everything. Surprisingly, there are 9 creatures like that here, and they're all chained. The ancestors of the dynasties are definitely not the cultivators who sealed them. I need to ask Qin Shan. Lin Feng took out a jade talisman and contacted Qin Shan. "Master Qin Shan, are you there?" "What is it, Lin Feng?" replied a voice. Lin Feng was astonished. Qin Shan was in the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds and Lin Feng was in the continent of the 9 clouds, and the call still worked. It was probably due to the fact that the passages were open, as it wasn't possible in the past. "How's it going in the Life Shrine?" asked Lin Feng to Qin Shan. "I'm recovering. The Life Shrine is a great place. The rebirth scriptures are really mysterious. Thank you for everything, Lin Feng, it's all thanks to you. I never thought I'd recover someday." Lin Feng laughed and said, "It's all thanks to the diviner. He's enigmatic and unfathomable. He has extremely good relations with the Life Shrine, and he asked them to help me at some point. That's how it started. So we have to be grateful to him." "I know, but without you, it still wouldn't have been possible for me," Qin Shan laughed. "Right. By the way, I am in Qitian Holy Town in the historical remains where you used to be. There are 9 terrifying cultivators here who are imprisoned. They say those chains are called celestial chains of heaven and earth. You probably know what happened here back then, right?" Lin Feng asked Qin Shan. Qin Shan suddenly sounded nervous. "Lin Feng, actually, if you try to investigate, you'll probably learn things. But sometimes you have to be careful. Back then, we were all quite strong, but it was difficult for us to become stronger. When you're a low-level saint, it's difficult to break through. But one day we bumped into them. When we saw them, we finally had hopes again. We saw an opportunity to become stronger in them. Back then, we practiced cultivation really hard. We kept becoming stronger. We weren't even aware of our cultivation levels. Actually, as we didn't care about naming them, all we knew was that we were breaking through." "Who are they?" asked Lin Feng. When the saint of the Holy Spirit dynasty had transmitted the memories of the ancient battlefield to him, Lin Feng had heard about that. "They're not cultivators, they are a transformation, an evolution, of original strength. They can absorb space strength and turn it into original strength. They evolve in endless cycles. They constantly become stronger. They are heavenly gifted, they are natural original strength." Chapter 24-26, People in White Clothes. When Lin Feng heard Qin Shan, he shuddered. They were an evolved form of original strength, heavenly gifted. No wonder their qi didn't resemble cultivators' qi. So, the terrifying entity in the abyssal hole is demon original strength, the one in the ice world is water original strength, and there's also an empty space original strength, and a soundwave one. 9 innate original strength bodies, thought Lin Feng. He asked, "So back in the days you started fighting because of those people? However, you didn't manage to absorb them? We all regretted it in the end. For example, me, I used all my strength to turn into a gigantic cauldron to oppress the soundwave original strength in the valley. The other saints did the same. Nobody won. In the end, we used as much strength as we could to oppress their original strength. Then, we decided to have our descendants come, but we didn't think nobody would be strong enough to do anything until now. It finally changed." "I understand. Thank you very much," replied Lin Feng. He put his jade talisman away and ran back to the abyssal pit. Outside of the black hole were 2 people. They were both very strong and demon chi rolled around them. They were both half-saints. "What's going on here? The demon intent is terrifying, it doesn't even look like a person," said one of them. "I'm not sure. I have the impression that practicing cultivation next to him is good. It helps us understand demon original strength," said the other one. But practicing here could be dangerous. He could kill us, said the other one. He looked petrified. The energies in the black hole might be more powerful than his own. At that moment, they looked at Lin Feng and the others, and their eyes twinkled. You're a saint too? One of them asked Lin Feng. They couldn't sense Lin Feng's qi, so they didn't understand. Lin Feng just glanced at them, then said to Qing Feng and Jing, "Wait for me here. I'll be back quickly." "All right," both of them nodded. Lin Feng jumped into the hole. The two cultivators were stupefied. That guy was definitely a saint, otherwise he wouldn't have dared jump into the abyssal pit. It was completely dark inside. Back then, Lin Feng had been inside, but this time his godly awareness was much more powerful. Lin Feng saw the demon's evil eyes and the chains. The demon said to him, "I'm not interested in people who are not demon cultivators. Piss off." "Who said I wasn't a demon cultivator?" asked Lin Feng airily. He looked at the demon disdainfully and released demon energy. Instantly, he looked like a demon king. "Demon original strength, very good," said the demon. He looked ferocious as the chains emitted crackling sounds. He rose up into the air and a gigantic hand moved towards Lin Feng. "I wonder how strong a body made of original strength is?" Lin Feng asked casually. He also released a terrifying demon punch. The entity's punch broke apart and Lin Feng realized that after it broke, the original strength condensed a hand again, and it was more powerful than the previous one. It moved towards him again too. It was like the entity had used Lin Feng's demon strength, too. "Good little boy." Lin Feng was stunned, then his body turned into a vortex and he started absorbing the energies. It was incredible to see. The vortex absorbed the demon's strength. As the original strength disappeared, Lin Feng continued moving down. He wanted to check whether he could absorb all the strength at once. The demon was astonished and roared with rage. The chains shook even more violently. Lin Feng felt danger. Demon strength condensed. 12 ancient demons appeared around Lin Feng, all holding gigantic steel fork. They looked like demon gods as they rose up in the air and started attacking Lin Feng's vortex. The 12 demons hit the vortex with their steel forks. Thunder rocked the pit. The vortex cracked, and the 12 demons roared eagerly. "Umph." Lin Feng grunted icily and continued releasing strength to oppress the enemy. "That demon has a body made of original strength. I can't fight against him as if I were fighting against a normal saint." Lin Feng suddenly accelerated, arriving in front of the 12 demons. They roared in unison and attacked. "Slow," said Lin Feng. Everything around him became slower, including the 12 demons. Lin Feng then flew past them, as trying to kill them was useless anyway. After that, Lin Feng appeared in front of his enemy and directly used a ruler's sword attack. It pierced through the demon like a knife through butter. The demon directly vanished. Lin Feng's sword destroyed it. However, the nothingness condensed again into a demon, still chained. "It's not a real body?" Lin Feng was astonished. That wasn't a real body. Even when the demon was destroyed, the chains continued constricting him. Those chains seemed indestructible. The demon roared furiously. He wanted to eat Lin Feng. "Fire!" Lin Feng released fire strength, which burned the entity. At the same time, he suddenly rose back up in the air and headed outside. "How annoying." "How was it?" Jing asked Lin Feng. "He can't be killed." "I don't know what to do," whispered Lin Feng. Jing was stunned. He couldn't kill that creature? They heard a terrifying roar. Many hands reached for Lin Feng, Jing, and Qing Feng. Lin Feng dragged them away as lights surrounded them, and they continued flying away. Lin Feng wasn't afraid of the original strength creature, but Jing and Qing Feng were vulnerable. Lin Feng was annoyed. He was so strong, even stronger than Qin Shan back in those days, but he couldn't do anything against the original strength entity either. A group of people appeared outside of the historical remains. They were all wearing white clothes, moving easily and casually, and stylized sharp eyebrows. "There," said one of them, pointing to a place. There was a chained entity in the sky. Golden lights flashed there. "Let's go." The group of people in white clothes flew and punched the creature in chains. "Who?" the chained creature shouted furiously. The atmosphere around it exploded, energies moved towards the group of people. Chains descended from the sky and bound the attacks before moving them into an empty space. At the same time, mighty deployment seals surrounded the chained creature. It looked like a fly in a spider web, buried in chains. That creature shouted furiously. The atmosphere kept shaking around it. Everybody in the historical remains heard it. "Kill those people," shouted someone furiously. Soundwave strength shook people's eardrums. The people who were in the historical remains raised their heads and saw the group of people in white clothes. At the same time, those figures flickered. What were those people in white clothes doing to the chained creatures? A light curtain appeared in the sky and surrounded the people in white clothes, including the chained creature. Lin Feng arrived, wanting to see what was going on. He was startled too. Sealing strength. These people are strengthening the chains? Do they have anything to do with the celestial chains of heaven and earth? Stop struggling. Our master let you live for one reason. You're captured and tied already, no need to put up a fight, said one of the cultivators in white clothes. Those saints represented their master. How powerful was their master? Chapter 24-27. Gift for a new disciple. The seal was still there. More and more invisible and intangible marks appeared and surrounded the original strength entity. He couldn't move anymore. The group of people in white clothes moved forwards. Their sealing lights became even more dazzling and powerful. The young man in the middle released shining golden lights. At the same time, he started drawing things in the air with his finger. Suddenly, chains appeared around his own body and connected to the chains on the original strength entity. "Who are you?" shouted the empty space original strength entity furiously. It could sense that the chains were terrifying. These people were similar to the people who had sealed it long ago. They probably belonged to the same group. Back then the cultivator who had sealed them was even stronger and scarier. "From now on, you and me make one. You'll help me make my empty space original strength reach the maximum level. You should be happy about that," said the young man, slowly walking towards the original strength entity. Empty space original strength and sealing strength were two sorts of strength. The original strength entity was a gift he had received from his teacher when he had been accepted as a disciple. It meant his teacher acknowledged him. "Piss off," shouted the original strength entity desperately. It was going to become this young man's tool? It was very unhappy. It had been created by the earth and the sky. Nature was its mother. It was a heavenly gifted strength of nature. Nobody had managed to capture it in the past, and now what? It was going to become someone's stepping stone? "Body seal," shouted the young man furiously. The original strength entity slowly started corroding. His original strength slowly started flowing through the chains towards the young man's body. The young man was absorbing it and sealing it in his body. "No," shouted the original strength entity frantically. However, its entire body turned into smoke and penetrated into the young man's body. It vanished completely. It became an integral part of the young man's body. "You're mine," said the young man in white clothes. The seals in the space disappeared, as the original strength entity had already disappeared. The crowd around was astonished. Many people's hearts were racing. Those people's sealing abilities were just too incredible. They could directly absorb the original strength entities and make them part of their bodies. "Do you want to die too?" shouted the young man furiously. His voice echoed far away in the historical remains. The 8 other original strength entities stopped shouting out, afraid that the group of people would try to capture them as well. The sealing strength of the group of people in white clothes disappeared. They turned around and glanced at the crowd. They looked indifferent and scornful, as if they found all those people worthless because they weren't strong enough. The crowd sensed that those people were making fun of them, but so what? What could they do? They were so much weaker compared to them. They probably came from a powerful and influential group. Their sealing techniques were mysterious and incredible. Only extremely strong cultivators could do such things. They were all saints, and their group attacks were amazing. They had also talked about their master, who also seemed to be a terrifying being. Since the passages to the higher world are open, more and more saints will appear here, but let me tell you one thing. You're too weak to do anything against them. Now piss off. We want to seal this place," said the young man in white clothes calmly. Many people didn't know what kind of creatures the 8 original strength entities were. However, Lin Feng knew about them. Therefore, he understood that these people wanted to seal the place to have access to the original strength entities later on if they had the opportunity. They wanted to use the original strength entities to become stronger easily. If they sealed the area, they would be able to use them whenever they needed them, like a moment before when they had absorbed the empty space energy original strength entity. "Haven't you heard me?" said the young man icily. Some people hadn't moved, as if they hadn't heard him. "Young master, since they cast greedy eyes on the gift our master gave you, we should kill them all," said a person in white clothes standing next to the young man. He sounded as calm as pale clouds and light breeze, as if killing all the people around them was something insignificant and easy. Actually, it really was the case, as those small saints from the lower world were really weak compared to them. Their master seldom showed up in the outside world, but he was really terrifying. The young man in white clothes had had to become a low-level saint to be acknowledged by his teacher. When the crowd heard him, they flew away. It was better not to offend these people. They were crazy and really strong. A gift, meaning his teacher acknowledged him? When Lin Feng heard them, he was astonished. Those original strength entities were a gift to that young man? That was impressive indeed. "Qing Feng Jing, leave now," said Lin Feng. The 2 women weren't strong. If anything happened, they could die easily. All right. The 2 women understood that too, so they left. Quickly, many people disappeared from the historical remains, but some people also decided to stay. Some of them were like Lin Feng, and didn't like it when other people threatened them, and second, they were interested in original strength too. The young man in white clothes inspected the area with his godly awareness and suddenly looked angry. He hissed, "Surprisingly, some people decided to stay here, they're not afraid to die." "Well then, kill them all." "Yes, young master," said the group of people when they heard their young master. They rose up in the air and released a powerful sealing strength over the historical remains. A gigantic circular sealing pattern appeared in the sky. Lin Feng frowned. He could sense that a sealing strength was constricting his body. "Seal, dragon constriction," shouted a cultivator. A gigantic godly dragon appeared and roared out. Sealing strength could also kill people. Lin Feng wasn't the only who was being attacked. Everybody who had decided to stay in the historical remains was being attacked and buried in sealing strength. That kind of strength can be that powerful? Surprising, thought Lin Feng. He released sword intent, but it wasn't sufficient to destroy the godly sealing dragons. There were more and more dragons around him. It's impressive when so many people attack at the same time. He attacked a dragon directly, and it exploded instantly. The godly dragons were getting closer and closer to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was angry, and released sword intent as he rose up in the air, using his god sword. Fissures appeared in the sky around him. At the same time, he accelerated and moved, condensing fast strength in his sword. The seal sounded like metal shattering as Lin Feng managed to pierce through the energies and appeared outside. He inspected the area with his godly awareness and realized that all the strong cultivators were being attacked like him. The dazzling empty space lights had turned into ancient godly dragons. Those people's sealing attacks are powerful and strange. I wonder where they are from. He saw the cultivators in white clothes looking at him. He had managed to escape from a dragon constriction attack, attracting their attention. Chapter 24-28. Familiar sealing strength. The young man in white clothes looked furious and called out, "Celestial horizontal chains." He put his hands on the empty space ancient dragons, and the other strong cultivators moved at the same time. A mighty sealing strength surged out. Lin Feng saw the cultivators who were already constricted by godly dragon chains get constricted by another layer of chains. More and more sealing layers appeared around them. Lin Feng frowned as invisible and intangible empty space chains descended from the sky. He could sense their strength too. Lin Feng rose up in the air. He wanted to escape from those sealing chains, which were closely following him. His enemies wanted to constrict him completely. 8 celestial gates, shouted the young man icily. The group of cultivators in white clothes attacked at the same time. Celestial gates appeared in the sky. Lin Feng raised his head as the strange sealing gates came closer and closer to him. Close, shouted a cultivator furiously. The 8 gates descended from the sky. Slow, shouted Lin Feng. He was furious. These people considered everybody and everything beneath their notice. They didn't allow anyone to cast covetous eyes on the original strength entities. Lin Feng released slowness strength on the 8 gate, and a terrifying empty space strength, and his figure became blurry. Great empty space technique, shouted Lin Feng icily. The chains shifted away from his body. He jumped into an empty space void and turned into a beam of light. He reappeared outside of the 8 gates. The group of people was astonished. A low-level saint could escape from their group attack? The attack was extremely powerful. Their sealing attacks were the best in the world. Once someone had been sealed, it was difficult for them to break free, especially once they continued releasing more and more sealing strength. They suddenly realized that Lin Feng was getting closer and closer to them. He was moving very, very quickly. The group of people was astonished. This guy was pretty brave. He dared to get closer to them. Wasn't he afraid? Lin Feng pointed a finger at them. Hell-death strength appeared. The strong cultivators in white clothes started hearing ghosts and demons howl furiously around them. Hell strength surrounded them, then demons appeared and converged on them. It's an illusion. Keep cold-headed, shouted the young man in white clothes. Everybody was startled. Their enemy controlled illusion original strength, and he was a low-level saint. They had to be careful. Illusion original strength was a terrifying kind of original strength. At such high levels, one thought sufficed to trap people in illusions. Inside illusions, cultivators could barely protect themselves. They could be killed easily. Those who controlled more than just illusion original strength were even more terrifying. Seal the space, shouted the group of people icily. Sealing strength filled the area again. They sealed the atmosphere around them. They saw Lin Feng attack their sealing strength frantically, but he didn't manage to destroy it. They smiled icily. Get ready to attack and kill him, ordered the young man in white clothes. The cultivators in white clothes nodded and released even more sealing strength. Open! They opened the sealing strength and converged on Lin Feng. Life seal. Sealing patterns appeared one after another and moved towards Lin Feng. His life strength was being drained out. He was dying. He overestimated himself. The young man in white clothes smiled icily. At that moment, he sensed danger, and their faces stiffened. Be careful, seal your own bodies, shouted the young man in white clothes. His friends sealed their bodies with the celestial sealing gates. As they did, an incredible destructive strength filled the air, and a curtain of sword chi appeared. How is that possible? When they saw the sword, they were astonished. They were convinced they had killed him. How had he survived? Illusion. They suddenly understood. They were still in the illusion. They hadn't managed to break free at all. And now they couldn't protect themselves inside. It was the problem with illusions. You believed you broke free, but actually you were still inside. It was the scariest part of illusions. They sealed their bodies or ran away, but they were so slow. Their enemy's attack was extremely fast as lightning. The sword instantly cut apart a saint, and his soul dispersed. No, there was a scream as another saint was killed. The god's sword was terrifying. In the blink of an eye, 2 people had been killed. Ancient sealing gates suddenly appeared and moved towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng withdrew and jumped into an empty space. He was startled to recognize that it was a kind of spirit he had seen a long time ago. Before breaking through to the Huang Qi layer, cultivators used their spirits a lot. When they became emperors, their spirits fused together with their blood. They became an inherent strength, an ability, a part of a cultivator's body. Emperors could use their blood strength to use similar abilities after that. That was why really strong cultivators' descendants also had incredible spirits, because it was a part of their blood. It was why someone who had an incredible sealing soul also had incredible sealing abilities, especially after becoming an emperor. "You want to die," shouted the young man in white clothes furiously. He had just been acknowledged by his teacher, many people admired him, and his teacher had granted him the original strength entities, but told him to pick them up himself. That was why he was there. Their teacher had told them that the world was chaotic, so he had told them to get ready to travel and become famous in a chaotic world. However, they had just come down their mountain, and now someone was already killing them. They were getting killed in the lower world. It was humiliating. If they went back and told their group that some of them had been killed, their fellow disciples would make fun of them. He released a great sealing strength, and the atmosphere became dark. More gates appeared. There are sealing gates everywhere. Lin Feng was impressed. Indeed, he had already seen such gates before, but these were much, much more powerful. "Stop!" shouted someone at that moment. Lin Feng was startled, but the space was sealed and he didn't know who was shouting. The young man tried to look as if he hadn't heard anything. "Sure, you're ignoring me?" asked that voice. The young man in white clothes frowned, and came back to his senses. How come he's here? Chapter 24-29. Saint Feng Mo. When Sure heard that, the sealing gates disappeared. Everything returned to normal. "Ninth fellow disciple, what are you doing here?" asked Sure, smiling unhappily and looking at another cultivator in white clothes. He wasn't happy. Before recruiting him, his teacher already had 9 direct disciples, but Sure only admired the first 8 ones, because they were extraordinarily strong. He didn't like the 9th because he wasn't that strong. He had been a low-level saint for a shorter time than he had. According to rumors, the 9th disciple had become their teacher's disciple only because he knew their teacher from before. Otherwise, their teacher would have never recruited someone like him. Therefore, Sure didn't like him much. After all, he had just become his teacher's disciple, so he had to respect him. He couldn't wait to rise up in the hierarchy of the group, and then he would forget about 9th quickly. "Come and see," said the young man in the sky indifferently. He hadn't been recruited by his teacher very long ago either, only a few dozen years. Someone had taken him to a mysterious and incredibly powerful group, and he had been accepted as a disciple of an incredibly strong cultivator. He didn't know much about his teacher in comparison with the other disciples. He felt a bit lonely. He also knew that Sure didn't like him. Of course, he didn't care about him. "Brother Lin Feng, we finally meet again," said the young man, smiling at Lin Feng. Lin Feng was astonished. He couldn't believe it his eyes. That little boy had become so strong? A long time ago, he had understood that that little boy had an incredible strength. They hadn't seen each other for such a long time. He had never heard of him since. This time, that little boy was the fellow disciple of those people in white clothes. He also understood that those people's influential group was incredible, from what he had heard so far. Their teacher had even offered them those original strength entities. Of course, Lin Feng was happy for him. Back in the days, he was also quite strong. Finally, he had found a group. It was definitely due to his innate abilities and talent. "Duan Feng," smiled Lin Feng. This young man was Duan Feng. They had met in their home world, in Shuiyu, long ago. He used to be a member of the imperial family of Shuiyu. When Sure heard them, he was astonished. They knew each other? "Brother Lin Feng, even though I was recruited by my teacher a short time ago, I know you're famous. Back then, I saw you at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, and I also saw the shrines attack you. Recently, I heard you were safe and sound. I was so happy for you. You will definitely become a high-level saint soon." "I've always known that," replied Duan Feng, smiling and landing next to Lin Feng. The crowd of people in white clothes were really stupefied now. Lin Feng, they had heard that name before. This was Lin Feng. They had underestimated people from the lower world. Lin Feng was there. "So, our 9th fellow disciple is one of Lin Feng's friends." "What a misunderstanding," Sure spoke up suddenly. He smiled at Lin Feng and said, "Brother Lin, what just happened was a misunderstanding. I'm sorry." Lin Feng glanced at Sure. They were Duan Feng's fellow disciples. He couldn't say much. He just nodded. "Let's forget about it now, then." Alright, but Brother Lin, this place is a gift my teacher gave to me, at least the original strength entities within. My ninth fellow disciple also knows that. I hope you won't try and steal those gifts, said Disher. Even though he was polite, he was also firm. He was telling Lin Feng he had to conduct himself well. He didn't want Lin Feng to steal the original strength entities. Duan Feng couldn't say anything about it, thither. Your teacher is the demon sealer? Said Lin Feng. It wasn't clear whether he was asking Duan Feng or Disher. Brother Lin Feng, I'll tell you more about that, said Duan Feng. He looked at Disher and said, You already have your gift. Bring the others away now. Disher was surprised and looked unhappy. Duan Feng was being a bit too pressing suddenly. Wait until the teacher respects me enough, I'll show you, thought Disher. He had just become his teacher's disciple, he couldn't be too defiant. He had to submit this time. No problem, fellow disciple. I'm off. I'll go and see our teacher to thank him. I will also tell him about what the situation looks like here. We'll see what he thinks. The passages between the higher and the lower worlds are open, so I'm afraid this place will attract many people's attention. So, we'll see if he wants to take all the original strength entities away or not, said Disher calmly. Duan Feng replied indifferently, If you like. Let's go, Disher smiled. He waved and rose up in the air with the others, looking quietly furious. Lin Feng watched them leave. Duan Feng said, Brother Lin Feng, let's find a place to talk. All right, let's head to the Holy Spirit Dynasty. Let's talk and move at the same time, said Lin Feng, glancing around. They flew away quickly. Brother Lin Feng, back then when I was in the Ba Huang province in our home world, someone took me away and taught me a lot. He's my current teacher, said Duan Feng told him. Lin Feng nodded and waited. At the beginning, he just taught me about cultivation. He didn't let me become his disciple officially, even if I already considered him as my teacher. Long after that, I became a saint and he decided to recruit me officially. Even though I've always known he was extremely strong, I only realized how strong he really was when I became his disciple officially. The world is gigantic, there are many powerful groups. Apart from the shrines, there are invisible groups, who are mysterious and hold themselves aloof from the world. I'm not surprised, said Lin Feng. He knew a lot more about the worlds these days. Indeed. My teacher is Feng Mo. In our small world, he was known as the legendary cultivator who could seal incredibly powerful demons, the demon sealer. Many years ago, he was very famous. Many strong cultivators feared him in the outside world. He wasn't interested in power, though, and created his own world. Time passed and people seldom heard about him in the outside world. He just became a legend. Many people don't even know who Feng Mo or the demon sealer is, only old, powerful cultivators know him. As expected, thought Lin Feng. The great emperor, the demon sealer, was famous in the small world. In the small world, they thought great emperors were already incredibly powerful. To Feng Mo, a great emperor was a tiny little insect. He could kill great emperors with the tip of his finger. Did your teacher create our small world? Asked Lin Feng. There was a sealed area in the Huang Sea. It had the same shape as Shuiyu. According to legends, it had been created by the demon sealer. Shuiyu is my teacher's native land. Shuiyu is the place where we grew up, but once, it was a small country in the great world. My teacher comes from there. After a great battle happened in the ancient days, the continent of the 9 clouds became chaotic and brought people much misery and suffering. Shuiyu was destroyed, and my teacher created a small world and put Shuiyu in there. That's where we grew up. My teacher also lived there once. As a result, he left his traces everywhere, replied Duan Feng. Lin Feng realized he had guessed right. The 3 Lives Emperor's demon clone had been sealed by Feng Mo. What about Empress Shi and the 9 Netherworld's Emperor's graves? What were the details? Also, why did the members of the imperial city of Shuiyu have a sealing gate spirit? Feng Mo lived in Shuiyu before, realized Lin Feng. In his life, he had seen some extraordinary cultivators who had ordinary lives in small places. They hid their cultivation, they had lots of time, and they had lots of families. Maybe that was Feng Mo's case too? So Shui Yu's imperial family, your family, the Duans, do they have your teacher's blood? Lin Feng asked. Even though he never told me the truth, I think it's the case. But he must have many families and he doesn't really care, I guess. He just created Shui Yu. A family is like a house he would have built. If I had been weak, he wouldn't have cared about me and he wouldn't have recruited me, replied Duan Feng. Lin Feng nodded. Indeed, such cultivators had feelings, but only to a certain extent. They didn't really care about their family members. Duan Feng probably had such a relationship with Feng Emo because they had the same blood and he was talented. Chapter 2430. Lost Country. The Holy Spirit Dynasty was the same as before. The previous time Lin Feng had been there, the Fire Shrine's members had sent some people to attack Lin Qiongxing. Luckily, Lin Feng had arrived and had pretended to be a strong cultivator from the Fortune Shrine. Now, Lin Feng didn't know where his son Lin Qiongxing was, or what had become of him. At the same time, because of the particular status of the Holy Spirit Dynasty, the other dynasties didn't like it. They wanted to destroy it, but as long as Lin Feng was alive, nobody would be able to destroy them, including the animal district. There were many strong cultivators in the region since the lower and higher worlds were now connected, but the Holy Spirit Dynasty was the same as before, it hadn't changed. Lin Feng was famous, and that was probably one of the reasons why people feared him. Lin Feng and Duan Feng arrived. Holy Emperor Ling came out to greet Lin Feng personally because he liked him a lot. He was the father of their future Holy Emperor. Lin Feng had transmitted his blood to their descendants, so they were connected now. Lin Feng. Many strong cultivators came out to greet him. They looked at him and didn't notice anything about him particularly, but they didn't doubt that he had become much stronger. Dozens of years had passed, it wasn't a long time, but they could see that Lin Feng had changed. Holy Emperor. Lin Feng replied. Is Qiongxing here? Holy Emperor Ling shook his head and said, I don't know where he is. I haven't heard anything from him since. He never contacted me. He's a bit too hands-off, said Lin Feng, smiling wryly. Lin Feng, who's this? Asked Holy Emperor Ling, looking at Duan Feng. His chi looked extraordinary. My friend, Duan Feng. Lin Feng, Duan Feng, let's go inside to talk, said Holy Emperor Ling. They all entered the dynasty's territory. Holy Emperor Ling, so many years have passed. Has Qi Tian Holy Town changed a lot? Asked Lin Feng. Of course, there have been great changes. All the dynasties have changed. The Holy Spirit Dynasty is the dynasty which has changed the least, especially since many strong cultivators from the higher world come here. There are many battles and so on. Changes are normal and expected. The reason why not so many things changed here in the Holy Spirit Dynasty is that we're half stuck. Half stuck? Asked Lin Feng. Yes, you know there are conflicts between the other dynasties and the Holy Spirit Dynasty. They don't want us to rise. We can't do anything without being watched. They just don't dare attack us directly, that's all, said Holy Emperor Ling. Lin Feng nodded and said, it's going to stop. Holy Emperor, send some people to the most powerful groups and have them convey a message from me. Tell them I want all their leaders to come to the Holy Spirit Dynasty, Lin Feng said calmly. Even though he sounded calm, it made Holy Emperor Ling and the other strong cultivators of the Holy Spirit Dynasty tremble. How crazy! Have all the dynasty's leaders come? I don't think they'll come, replied Holy Emperor Ling. Just transmit my message. If they don't come, it's their choice, said Lin Feng. Holy Emperor Ling smiled and nodded. All right, we'll see if they come. It's their decision. The first thing Holy Emperor Ling wanted to do didn't surprise Lin Feng. He organized a huge banquet for him. But Lin Feng didn't want one, so he said, I'm just going back to where I was before. You can let the other dynasty's leaders stay in those great and magnificent places. All right, I'll be waiting for you here, said Holy Emperor Ling. He knew how Lin Feng was. He smiled as Lin Feng and Duan Feng left. Lin Feng went back to the place he used to share with Tang Yuyu, and they watched the sunset. Duan Feng, where is your teacher? Asked Lin Feng out of curiosity. Feng Mo was a mysterious and legendary cultivator. Where had he created his group? Of course, if it's a secret, you don't need to tell me, Lin Feng added quickly. It's all right. It's not a secret for everybody. I would guess most of the shrine's saints know where he established his sect. Why have I never read anything about him, then? Asked Lin Feng. He didn't understand. Because even if you had read about it, you wouldn't necessarily be able to go there, so writing about it would be useless, said Duan Feng with a smile. My teacher's sect is in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds, in a place called Sealed Imprint Mountain. Brother Lin Feng, do you know where Sealed Imprint Mountain is in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds? How could I guess? He shook his head. Duan Feng was creating suspense. The Lost Country, Duan Feng stated calmly. Lin Feng was astonished. The Lost Country? He had heard that name before, of course. Sealed Imprint Mountain is situated in the Lost Country? Whispered Lin Feng. Indeed, one of the 7 forbidden territories, the Lost Country, said Duan Feng, bursting into laughter when he saw Lin Feng's flabbergasted face. Apart from Sealed Imprint Mountain, other people couldn't go there unless someone gave them directions. How do you go there? Asked Lin Feng. He was really curious now. The Lost Country was one of the 7 forbidden territories, a famous place. According to legends, the Lost Country used to be an incredible country with many strong cultivators. There used to be many demon and ghost cultivators there. One day, they faced a catastrophe, the gods abandoned them, and their nation had turned into ruins and desolation. Now many incredible cultivators were sealed in there, and many people had died there. Of course, it was a legend, which didn't prove anything, and going inside could be deadly. Few people dared go there. Yet now Duan Feng was telling Lin Feng that Sealed Imprint Mountain was in the Lost Country. We have a special way to avoid danger, we can go straight to the sect. The sect is in a sealed area. It's not really a mountain, it's a world created by my teacher. I see. I'm curious, I wish I could meet your teacher, murmured Lin Feng. I'll take you there sometime. Even though his world can't be as big as the continent of the Nine Clouds, it's still amazing there. Your teacher doesn't allow people to come and go as they wish, right? Lin Feng smiled. Correct. Most people don't know about the world, only some people who practice in Sealed Imprint Mountain know about it and can go there. You can only go with prior authorization. I understand, Lin Feng nodded. Outside of the Holy Spirit Dynasty, an incredible qi filled the air. A group of strong cultivators arrived and entered the Holy Spirit Dynasty. One of the guards stopped them and smiled. Please stop here. Is this a joke? The Holy Spirit Dynasty invited us, and this is how you treat your guests. Have Holy Emperor Ling come here, shouted the leader of the group icily. Don't prevent Holy Emperor Tianxi from entering, shouted a voice in the distance. The guards suddenly understood. These people were from the Tianxi dynasty, and Holy Emperor Ling came out personally to greet them. Holy Emperor Ling, I trust you have been doing well since we last met, said Holy Emperor Tianxi, entering the Holy Spirit Dynasty's territory. I'm all right. And guards, don't stop anyone who comes here. Many dynasties' leaders are coming to pay us a visit. Greet them warmly, said Holy Emperor Ling. Yes, sir, Holy Emperor, replied the guards. They thought of Lin Feng. He had come back and now something big was going to happen. He had invited all the leaders of the dynasties here. Where is Lin Feng? Asked Holy Emperor Tianxi. He arrived in a great hall where a banquet had been prepared. He's here. He'll come soon, I guess, Holy Emperor Ling smiled. He was convinced Lin Feng knew what was going on. We came because he invited us. Why isn't he here? What's that supposed to mean? Asked Holy Emperor Tianxi. He sounded unhappy. You can ask him when he arrives, Holy Emperor Ling smiled. Lin Feng could take care of everything. More and more people arrived outside. All the leaders were arriving. Chapter 24:31. Waiting. The atmosphere in the Holy Spirit Dynasty was getting lively. The Holy Spirit Dynasty had dispatched some people to invite these guests over. Even though the dynasty's leaders were all furious, they were also a bit frightened. Why did Lin Feng dare act so arrogantly? He had sent people to invite them to come to the Holy Spirit Dynasty. It felt more like an order to come than anything else. I, Lin Feng, summon you, the dynasty's leaders. That was precisely why they were a bit worried, and that was also the reason why they had all come. They wanted to see what was happening. Now that they were here, they didn't need to be very polite because having come was already polite. Lin Feng didn't give them face, so they needed to show they were proud and dignified. Holy Emperor Ling, what does Lin Feng want? Asked the Holy Emperor of the Qin dynasty icily. However, Holy Emperor Ling just looked unmoved. He glanced around at all the strong cultivators, smiling calmly. Lin Feng was right, they had all come. Of course, it was due to the fact that Lin Feng was famous abroad. Holy Emperor Qin, don't worry. You're not the first one to ask me that. Everybody, please sit down and enjoy the banquet. Why are you all so nervous? Holy Emperor Ling smiled. Lin Feng hadn't appeared, yet so all the leaders were worried about what he was planning. How insolent, said someone icily. He looked at Holy Emperor Ling and said, I haven't left the university for years. I was invited today, so I came, and now you keep us waiting? Holy Emperor Ling looked at the speaker. It was an old man, an elder from Goblin Spirit University. People respected him because many geniuses studied at Goblin Spirit University, but Lin Feng kept him waiting. Lin Feng invited all of you. He also said you could choose not to come if you didn't want to. Now he's not here, he must have his reasons. If you want to wait, wait. If you don't feel like it, you can leave. Nobody is forcing you to stay, replied Holy Emperor Ling calmly. The old man pulled a long face, but he said nothing. They could stay and wait, or just leave. As they wished. Holy Emperor Ling sounded a bit haughty. How could those people not be furious? They were all extraordinary people. Nobody burst out into anger though, they just tried to put pressure on the Holy Spirit dynasty. If Lin Feng showed up and wasn't strong enough to keep them in control, then they wouldn't hesitate anymore. The banquet is for everybody, so help yourself, said Holy Emperor Ling smiling. Servants kept bringing fine liquor and food, but it didn't suffice to make those people happy. They waited for a while, and it became dark outside. The crowd grew more and more furious. Even though they all chatted, they looked dark and gloomy. Many strong cultivators just drank silently. Holy Emperor Ling was a bit surprised. What was Lin Feng doing? Was he trying to infuriate these people? Excuse me, everybody, said Holy Emperor Ling. He suddenly stood up and left. The crowd guessed he was going to go and look for Lin Feng. They couldn't do much but wait now. Holy Emperor Ling indeed went to look for Lin Feng. Lin Feng and Duan Feng were laying in the grass in a courtyard and chatting as if the outside world had nothing to do with them. They had even sealed the area with qi in order not to get disturbed by people's godly awareness. They looked completely at ease. They obviously didn't know that some of the leaders were already furious. Lin Feng, shouted Holy Emperor Ling in the courtyard. Holy Emperor Ling, come in, said Lin Feng smiling. When he saw Lin Feng lying in the grass, he was annoyed and asked, all the leaders are here, aren't you going to see them? No rush. It's still early, said Lin Feng smiling. It's still early? Holy Emperor Ling's face stiffened, and he replied, those guys are all furious. If you keep making them wait, I'm afraid they will. Don't worry. Nothing will happen. Even if they get furious, then what? If they want to leave, they can leave, said Lin Feng smiled. He was calm, all pale clouds and light breezes, as if it wasn't a problem at all. Holy Emperor Ling didn't understand. Lin Feng, could you please tell me what you intend to do? Asked Holy Emperor Ling, smiling wryly. Holy Emperor. Lin Feng sat up. He asked, do you remember what happened last time when I came back? Yes, there was an envoy from a shrine, and some dynasties also got involved. They wanted to attack Qiongsheng. Luckily, you came back at the perfect time and solved the issue. I was astonished. Indeed. Nowadays, the continent of the 9 clouds is in a state of chaos. Nobody can escape it anywhere. If they weren't afraid of me, they could have joined hands and destroyed the Holy Spirit dynasty. What do you think? Asked Lin Feng. That's a fact, said Holy Emperor Ling, nodding agreement. Do you think we can accept a compromise, or coexist peacefully with them? Asked Lin Feng. Impossible. Therefore, this time, I want to teach them a good lesson. I want to show everyone in Qitian Holy Town that nobody can treat me or my family like that. I want them to remember it forever, said Lin Feng indifferently. Holy Emperor Ling smiled and nodded. All right, but some dynasties aren't our enemies. What will you do if they are furious or leave? Even if they're angry, so what? Nobody will dare attack in the Holy Spirit dynasty. If they leave, I'll invite them again, Lin Feng smiled. Including those we have tensions with. Since you have a plan, I'm not going to ask again, said Holy Emperor Ling, leaving quietly. At dawn, the atmosphere was oppressive. Lin Feng hadn't shown up at all. The leaders had been waiting the entire evening and nobody could give them an explanation. How infuriating! Holy Emperor Ling, are you humiliating us on purpose? Asked Holy Emperor Qin icily. I've also been waiting here. I told you if you want, you can leave, said Holy Emperor Ling calmly. Holy Emperor Qin punched the table in front of him, and it exploded. Alcohol fell onto the ground. He looked dark and gloomy. Everybody, should we go? People were surprised and glanced at one another. Everybody, you must have noticed that many people are watching us from outside. People must already be talking about the fact that we've been waiting here the whole time. Do you really intend to stay here and wait? Asked Holy Emperor Qin. The crowd was surprised. They had also released their godly awareness, and noticed that some people had been watching. All the leaders of the dynasties had gathered there. How could there not be anyone outside? I agree. Let's leave, said the Holy Emperor of the Great Desert Dynasty. Since you want to leave, just leave. Nobody is forcing you to stay. Why talk so much? Said someone with a smile. It was the celestial being of the ancient Jade Dynasty. The two holy emperors looked furious. You're patient then, celestial being, said Holy Emperor Qin icily. He rose up in the air and flew away. Outside, many people saw Holy Emperor Qin leave and whispered. He was out, he didn't want to wait anymore. Back in the days, there had been conflicts between him and Lin Feng, and now he had just been badly humiliated. Everybody enjoy yourself. I'm off, said Holy Emperor Qin, rolling up his sleeves. Then he left, also furious. After Holy Emperor Qin, Holy Emperor Tianxi also left. 3 days later, everybody left. The hall was just empty. Holy Emperor Ling was annoyed. What was Lin Feng thinking? Even people outside who had come to watch were annoyed. What was going on? When everybody calmed down, on the 4th day, a terrifying beast landed in the Qin dynasty. It was dozens of meters tall. It could crush people with 1 foot. It went through the Qin dynasty and destroyed all their buildings, but it didn't kill anyone. Many people were panic-stricken. The Qin dynasty used their full strength to attack that beast by surprise, but nobody could compete with it. Each time the beast punched someone, they died. The beast looked for Holy Emperor Qin, and it stared at him with its gigantic eyes. It looked excited. Master, what do you want from the Qin dynasty? Asked Holy Emperor Qin when he realized how terrifying that beast was. The gigantic beast didn't reply. Holy Emperor Qin felt pressured. The gigantic beast then threw his hand at Holy Emperor Qin. He wanted to dodge, but he had no time. He coughed up blood, his eyes rolled, and he fell onto the ground. Chapter 2432, rolling up his sleeves and leaving. Master, why? Why are you doing this? Asked Holy Emperor Qin, crawling back up. He didn't understand why that beast had attacked the Qin dynasty. The gigantic beast spat out qi, but didn't say anything. He raised his hand and threw it out again. Holy Emperor Qin wanted to dodge, but he couldn't move because of the oppressive strength. Rumbling sounds spread in the air, and he crashed onto the ground hard, forming a crater. Blood splashed. The beast continued attacking. Boom boom boom. The beast continued punching him. All the members of the dynasty didn't understand. Why was that beast attacking their holy emperor? The Qin holy emperor had never felt so humiliated. He was still coughing up blood. He suddenly flew away, trying to leave the dynasty. He quickly realized that the beast was attacking him and nobody else. Why? Asked Holy Emperor Qin. His bones were all broken. He wanted to escape, but the beast was much faster than him. The beast continued punching him or squashing him with his feet. How humiliating! Holy Emperor Qin had never felt this way before. He was going insane. Had he offended a terrifying cultivator? Lin Feng. Holy Emperor Qin was frightened. Was this happening because he hadn't waited for Lin Feng? But Lin Feng had done that on purpose. What was he supposed to do? Wait forever? The Tianxi dynasty is there. Holy Emperor Qin turned around and saw two people in the distance, a big one and a small one. When he saw them clearly, his face paled. Those two figures were Holy Emperor Tianxi and a gigantic beast. He wasn't the only one who was going through this. Holy Emperor Qin, shouted Holy Emperor Tianxi. His face was deathly pale. When he saw that Holy Emperor Qin was going through the same thing as him, he was stunned. Go, let's go to the Holy Spirit Dynasty. Only they can save us, shouted Holy Emperor Qin to Holy Emperor Tianxi suddenly. Yes, let's go to the Holy Spirit Dynasty. What a humiliation for us, two dynasties' leaders, agreed Holy Emperor Tianxi. He felt wretched and miserable. I feel the same, damn, said Holy Emperor Qin. He even had tears in his eyes. How miserable for two dynasties' leaders. They flew towards the Holy Spirit Dynasty as fast as they could, but on the way, the beasts continued humiliating them and hitting them. Their clothes were torn apart. They both had a running nose and sniffled, with tears in their eyes. On the way, some people saw them. They were astonished. Those two people were dynasties' leaders, and those two beasts were making them cry. They looked truly miserable. Many people even had compassion for them. Poor leaders. Holy Spirit Dynasty were there. Holy Emperor Qin looked like he had hope again when he saw the Holy Spirit Dynasty. Were the beasts finally going to stop humiliating them? Those beasts had even put their dirty feet on their faces. Their noses were even broken. Boom. Holy Emperor Tianxi and Holy Emperor Qin wanted to enter the Holy Spirit Dynasty, but they collided with a light curtain. Their faces became even paler. Thunder rumbled behind him. The gigantic beasts drew closer. It's a seal. Holy Emperor Qin's face was deathly pale. Behind the light curtain was Holy Emperor Ling. Holy Emperor Qin said, Holy Emperor Ling, let us come in. I thought you didn't want to stay here, Holy Emperor Qin. Why did you come back? Asked Holy Emperor Ling indifferently. I want to keep the appointment, said Holy Emperor Qin, forcing himself to smile. But when he said that, he raised his head and saw a gigantic stinky foot move towards his face again. He wanted to dodge, but heavy strength oppressed him and squashed his face. The beast wiped his foot on his face. Holy Emperor Qin's pale face turned red. He looked at Holy Emperor Ling and said, Holy Emperor Ling, I was wrong, I offended you, I'm so sorry, I want to keep the appointment, please let me back in. After you left, we canceled the banquet, we're not receiving guests anymore. Sorry, said Holy Emperor Ling indifferently. Holy Emperor Qin's face paled again. The gigantic beast squashed Holy Emperor Qin's face again. Holy Emperor Qin crashed onto the ground and crawled back up on his knees. Holy Emperor Qin, what are you doing? You're a holy emperor, I can't stand seeing you like this. If you really insist, I'll go and see Lin Feng, said Holy Emperor Ling sighed. Holy Emperor Qin wanted to kill Lin Feng so bad, so he was the one who had sent those evil creatures. Thank you so much, said Holy Emperor Qin standing up. However, Holy Emperor Ling didn't move. He just giggled and looked at him. Holy Emperor Qin's face turned even paler. He realized something. What banquet? Lin Feng had done this on purpose. If I don't kneel down, the beast will squash my face again, thought Holy Emperor Qin, realizing what was going on. He felt so miserable and pathetic, but it was the truth, the sad and cruel truth. He had joined hands with a shrine hoping they would kill Lin Qiongxing, and now Lin Feng was back and he wanted to get his revenge. And now, even if Lin Feng destroyed his dynasty, he wouldn't be able to do much about it. How tragic, how humiliating. Lin Feng, I will definitely see you die someday, shouted Holy Emperor Qin inside. He knew he couldn't surpass Lin Feng, but he hoped he would die, and then it would be the Holy Spirit Dynasty's Judgment Day. Boom boom. When the Tianxi Dynasty's holy emperors saw that Holy Emperor Qin was kneeling down, he did the same. He had also had conflicts with Lin Feng back in the days. Lin Feng hadn't destroyed their dynasties entirely, he had just humiliated them. On that day, the atmosphere outside of the Holy Spirit Dynasty got very busy. Leaders of universities and other powerful groups came and begged to see Lin Feng. All those strong cultivators gathered there, but Lin Feng didn't show up. Holy Emperor Ling went to Lin Feng's courtyard, raised his head and heard Lin Feng's voice. Holy Emperor, I'm leaving those bestial saints here. They will protect the Holy Spirit dynasty. If anything happens, you can give them orders. I'm off. He just heard Lin Feng but didn't see him. You're free and unrestrained. A group of strong cultivators is waiting outside and you're leaving it to me, said Holy Emperor Ling, shaking his head and smiling wryly. Lin Feng didn't feel like wasting his time with those people. If he wanted, he could kill them in a flash, but he didn't. He just wanted everybody in Qitian Holy Town to remember him and to know that the Holy Spirit dynasty was powerful. And he didn't even show up. Lin Feng, I'm sure people will remember you for a very, very long time in the continent of the 9 clouds, replied Holy Emperor Ling, before turning around and slowly walking away. He arrived outside, where the ceiling strength had already disappeared. The beasts looked at the sky. They were half-bestial saints from the starry sky world. Their leader had asked them to protect the Holy Spirit dynasty. Lin Feng said he didn't want to see you. Please leave, said Holy Emperor Ling, waving his hand. Those people's faces paled. They were terrified. The leader of the university who had burst into anger the previous time shuddered with fear. Holy Emperor Ling, please help us and tell him we wish we could see him. Yes, please, Holy Emperor Ling, said Holy Emperor Qin. He had the impression the beast would squash his face any time again with his dirty feet. Holy Emperor Ling had cold sweats. He looked at the gigantic beasts and said, Masters, please come back in. Yes, we have received orders from our master, the beasts replied. They shrank down and entered the Holy Spirit dynasty. All right, everybody, please go back, said Holy Emperor Ling. Those people glanced at one another and asked Holy Emperor Ling, Really? Really? Holy Emperor Ling nodded. Thank you very much, said Holy Emperor Qin and the others, standing up. They turned around and left as fast as they could. They felt so humiliated. When they left, flames of fury appeared in their eyes. Holy Emperor Ling understood that, but he didn't care anymore. Those beasts could protect the Holy Spirit dynasty. It was difficult to imagine how strong Lin Feng would become within 1,000 or even 10,000 years. Chapter 2433, Treasure Hall in the Imperial Court of the Continent of the 9 Clouds, in the Fortune Shrine. There were gigantic mountains and waterfalls coming from the sky. They were magnificent and grandiose. Lin Feng was walking in the Fortune Shrine. Many people looked at him in surprise. They smiled and said, Brother Lin Feng. Lin Feng also replied and smiled back. Even though many things had happened in the Fortune Shrine because of him, he rarely spent time with the others. He only spent time with the diviner. Lin Feng, you're back, said an old man walking past Lin Feng and smiling. Yes, I'm back, Lin Feng smiled. He didn't recognize anyone, but they all recognized him. Lin Feng slowly walked towards a waterfall. At the top of the waterfall, there was a figure, graceful and elegant. She smiled broadly when she saw him. Meng Qing, said Lin Feng. He flew up in the air and landed next to Meng Qing. He stretched his arms and caressed her wan and sallow face. He smiled gently and said, Silly girl. Meng Qing laughed and said nothing. She put her head on Lin Feng's shoulder and her eyes turned red. You left for so long, don't do that again, whispered Meng Qing. Lin Feng felt guilty. He nodded and said, I will always take you with me in the future. You said it, said Meng Qing, raising her head and smiled softly. Indeed, Lin Feng nodded. They both sat down on a gigantic stone and gazed into the distance. The landscapes were incredible here. Any news from Jitian? Asked Lin Feng. No. I don't know where he is. He has the same personality as you back in the days. Like father, like son, Lin Feng grinned. But while you were away all those years, many things happened to the Fortune Shrine. The continent of the 9 clouds is now in a state of chaos. More and more shrines want to fight against the Fortune Shrine, and the shrines are also starting to fight for supremacy. During times of prosperity, people don't really fight over territories that much. But now that the world is in a state of chaos, Resources are scarce and influential groups start fighting over territories. All the influential groups want to gain some mysterious worlds or places where there are precious things. They want to use resources for geniuses, so the competition is even more fierce. Lin Feng understood that. If the Fortune Shrine controlled a city, it meant that the resources in that city also belonged to the Fortune Shrine, and whenever new geniuses appeared in that city, then the Fortune Shrine could also recruit them. When the world was in a state of chaos, it lasted for thousands and thousands of years. The situation couldn't be solved from one day to another, so the shrines had to do their best. So anyway, what I wanted to say is, 7 years ago, the Fortune Shrine decided to recruit core disciples every 10 years. The core disciples can then all compete, no matter what their cultivation level is. Your friends, Ho Qing Lin, Junimo Shi, and someone else came back. They want to try and become core disciples in the Fortune Shrine. Lin Feng smiled. You saw Brother Ho and Junimo Shi? Yes, they came to see you, but then they found out you weren't here, said Meng Qing nodding. How are they doing? Asked Lin Feng. Very good. In 3 years, you'll be able to see them, said Meng Qing smiling. Great, in 3 years then, Lin Feng nodded. He grabbed Meng Qing's hand and said, Come, I want to take you somewhere. Meng Qing was curious. They walked towards an ancient palace. They both entered the cultivation room. Lin Feng waved his hand and a praying mat appeared. Let's go in. Lin Feng and Meng Qing stepped onto the praying mat. Lights flashed and they both disappeared, quickly reappearing in the starry sky world. Meng Qing was stupefied when she saw the landscapes. This wasn't Lin Feng's world. Where are we? Asked Meng Qing. A god's world, Lin Feng smiled. Meng Qing, I disappeared for a few years because I was stuck in a forbidden territory. You probably know about that. Then I found the godly graves god's historical remains, this starry sky world. This world was created by a god. The news that many people came out of the historical remains quickly spread. There are also many strong cultivators from other worlds. Everybody knows about that now. I would never have thought it all happened because you obtained the god's world, answered Meng Qing, smiling sweetly. It meant that the god had chosen Lin Feng as an heir. Let's go. There are many places here. I don't even know what to do with all these places, said Lin Feng. Their figures flickered, and they went to a few ancient star palaces. Lin Feng and Meng Qing entered one of them. Dazzling lights surrounded Meng Qing, which made her shiver. There are saints' weapons everywhere? Meng Qing was stunned. There were saints' weapons everywhere. Blades, spears, swords, halberds, axes, bows and arrows, whips, armors, gourds, rainbow cups. It was incredible. The palace was filled with treasures. Those are saints' weapons the god obtained back in the days. He practiced cultivation for a very long time and obtained many saints' weapons. The saints' weapons in this palace are all the best low-level saints' weapons you can find. In the other rooms, you can find medium-level saints' weapons, high-level saints' weapons, peerless saints' weapons, but I can only enter 2 rooms. I'll take you to the second one, Lin Feng told Meng Qing. He took her to another room. An incredible energy filled the air there. There were even more saints' weapons, all of them dazzling. In the outside world, people would go insane for them. He could only tell Meng Qing about them. He didn't even tell his teachers about them. People were envious. He had given his teachers many things, but not as incredible as these things because he didn't want enemies to kill his teachers to steal their weapons. Meng Qing, choose a weapon you want, said Lin Feng, smiling at her. Everything he had in life, he wanted to share with Meng Qing. Meng Qing and his friends were strong enough. He wanted to help them all become stronger. I can't use saints' weapons. I'm too weak, so I'll choose one for defense so that you don't need to worry about me, she agreed. All right, choose something to protect your physical body and soul. When you become a saint, you'll choose some for attacks, he told her. He didn't need Meng Qing to become incredibly strong and reach the clouds. He just wanted her to be safe. He could do the rest himself. Meng Qing chose a soft armor and a saint's soul sword. The sword could protect her when someone attacked her soul, so even if a saint attacked her by surprise, she wouldn't die. Don't spoil just me. Give some to the others, too. They're all in your small world, aren't they? She prodded him. I will go and see them. My world is becoming more and more perfect. They like calm and tranquility. This world is dangerous, so I will ask them, said Lin Feng, smiling. Yes, respect is the most important thing, Meng Qing agreed. Let's go. I'll take you to a place perfect to practice cultivation, said Lin Feng, dragging her along. They soon arrived in a cultivation palace. Meng Qing, this place is perfect to study celestial Dao strength. It's perfect to try and break through to the Sheng layer. You should practice here for a while, he said to her. All right, but don't worry if I don't manage to break through to the Sheng layer, said Meng Qing. They both smiled. She started meditating and Lin Feng went to another room. It was good to practice cultivation too, but it was also suitable to practice special saint spells, as it helped saints improve their fighting abilities. Lin Feng controlled several types of original strength. He wanted to become stronger and increase his fighting abilities. He was a low-level saint now, and he wanted to have no enemy at the same cultivation level. Chapter 2434. Together Lin Feng entered the palace and some intent surrounded him. It was a mysterious world. The place was dark, and Lin Feng couldn't see much, even with his godly awareness. However, at that moment, some light appeared and illuminated the space around him. After that, a second light appeared, and a third one. The lights kept twinkling on. Millions of lights appeared, the space around him turned into a starlit sky. The stars were dazzling. Some kind of intent? Lin Feng was surprised, all the stars seemed to be changing every second. It was an incredible sight. However, at that moment, all the stars disappeared, and the space became dark again. It made Lin Feng feel uncomfortable as it lasted for a while. Lin Feng sat down cross-legged patiently. Since that palace aimed at improving cultivators' fighting abilities, he didn't mind being patient and staying there for a while. Suddenly, the lights appeared again. Lin Feng had the impression those lights were as sharp as blades in his eyes, so he closed them. It was very difficult to describe how he felt. The first kind of strength is accumulation, the second type is explosiveness. The goal is to accumulate strength until it becomes explosive, like the God Sword, murmured Lin Feng. The intent in the space around him changed again as it attracted star original strength. Finally, Lin Feng saw the intent invade the space around him as a kind of finger attack. One finger seemed like it could move through space and time. It contained an endless number of dazzling lights and also contained destructive strength. Only that finger was left in the space around. Some explosive strength made the space look even darker. It absorbed all the dazzling lights around, the stars condensed into that finger. It was impossible to escape from it. Lin Feng had the impression he was hallucinating. That attack pierced through him. Even if his eyes were closed, he still had the impression the attack had pierced through his brain. It gave him chills. That one finger uses star original strength, similar to light and space original strength. That attack is so powerful. Even though the ruler's sword attack was powerful, it didn't use original strength in such a perfect way. That kind of finger technique can improve my ruler's sword attack. He was meditating calmly. He started using his ruler's sword. He made it condense again, trying to make it as explosive as possible. After Lin Feng finished studying, he went to another room. They each contained different sorts of intent. He visualized different sorts of saints' techniques. Lin Feng had the impression he was becoming much more erudite quickly. He was amazed by the power of original strength. He was focused and enjoyed learning. 3 years passed extremely quickly. It felt like minutes for Lin Feng. He went to see Meng Qing and they left the Star World. How do you feel? Asked Lin Feng to Meng Qing. I learned so much, I think I could become a saint soon, replied Meng Qing happily. You must have progressed a lot during those 3 years, right? Yes, I studied several things. I understand original strength even better. I understand what I have to do to increase my own saint's techniques now, he replied. During those 3 years, he had indeed progressed a lot. The god saint's techniques must be incredible. Yes, I saw a technique where he just stretched his arm out and he could pick up the sun, the moon, and the stars. Nothing could stop him. It was incredible, Lin Feng sighed. He had seen such an attack in the past. The two strong cultivators of the giant god's clan had such an attack, but it was much weaker than the god's own. Lin Feng, you're back, said someone at that moment. Lin Feng was startled and smiled at Meng Qing and told her, I'll go and see the diviner. All right, she assented. Lin Feng sped off and quickly arrived in another ancient palace. It was also a starry sky world. Master, Lin Feng said to the diviner, you went to the godly grave and a few decades later, you came out and you were a low-level saint already. Your cultivation speed is astonishing, said the diviner, smiling at Lin Feng gently. But don't be too proud. The world is in a state of chaos. Many terrifyingly strong people travel the world. I found some people whose cultivation speeds were terrifying as well, and I recruited them. I understand. At my cultivation level, cultivation speed is not the most important thing. We have to see how strong someone can get in the end, said Lin Feng calmly. No, you're wrong. If the world wasn't in a state of chaos, you would be right. But now the world is different, speed is extremely important. You might be more talented than someone else, but if they reach a higher cultivation level than yours more quickly, then you're doomed. If the fortune shrine doesn't raise geniuses quickly enough, we'll be doomed, said the diviner. Lin Feng's heart twitched. Who is stronger these days? Asked Lin Feng. The situation is too chaotic, we can't be sure. Anyway, everybody is very nervous and every day, every year, everything changes. But all of this has nothing to do with you. Lin Feng, I hope that you will become a high-level saint as soon as possible. Of course, I also hope you'll become a peerless saint someday. Before that happens, you don't need to fight against the other shrines directly. Only high-level saints can help? Asked Lin Feng, smiling wryly. Indeed. Great emperors represent the lower strata. High-level saints are the pillars because they are the only ones who can keep the situation under control. Regarding battles to death, peerless saints control the whole situation, and we haven't reached that point yet. The star priest of the Fortune Shrine, a peerless saint, has already started recruiting disciples. Do you know what that means? It means that the situation of the continent of the 9 clouds will change thoroughly. Maybe another great war like long ago will take place. Yes, people in the future will maybe consider our war to be like the war of the ancient days. Usually, our peerless star priest practices cultivation to try and become a god, but now, he's recruiting disciples. The peerless saints of the other shrines are doing the same. Lin Feng nodded. The situation was becoming serious. Anyway, don't worry about those things. Right now, you can't battle, or at least you can't participate as Lin Feng. You can use another face and chi to participate. Your fate is more important than the fate of 100 people. You need to become a high-level saint as quickly as possible so that we can use you in battles. I understand, Lin Feng said firmly. I won't put pressure on you. You know what to do. Go to Fortune City. Your friends are back, said the diviner, smiling at him. My friends are back? Lin Feng looked surprised. Do you think they have the potential to become core disciples? Yes, said the diviner agreeably. Lin Feng was pleasantly surprised, so he left immediately. He left the palace and descended from the sky, releasing his godly awareness to inspect the area. Many people raised their heads in Fortune City, sensing something. Ho Qing Lin and Jun Mo she sensed it too. They raised their heads, and Ho Qing Lin said, "What a terrifying godly awareness strength. That's someone from the shrine." People in Fortune City are all members of the Fortune Shrine. Jun Mo she laughed. Half, said Ho Qing Lin smiling. At that moment, a voice said to them telepathically, "Brother Ho, Jun Mo she." Lin Feng. Ho Qing Lin was astonishing. He raised his head and saw Lin Feng descending from the sky, grinning broadly. "How come you're together?" asked Lin Feng, smiling at the two of them. He landed on the ground next to them. Ho Qing Lin's chi was strange. When looking at his eyes, one had the impression one could drown in space and time. Jun Mo she's chi was ice cold. One didn't dare get close to him. "We bumped into each other while traveling. I almost died. Jun Mo she saved me." Ho Qing Lin smiled. "Nah, it's not true. I almost died, but anyway, we were lucky to find one another. If we hadn't, we would not have today's cultivation level, said Jun Emoshi smiled. You both became saints in such a short time. Good, said Lin Feng happily. Good? There's still a huge difference between us and you. Back in the days, during the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, we were at the same level. Now we're too weak to stand next to you, protested Jun Emoshi. He had just sensed Lin Feng's terrifying godly awareness. He was still happy for him. Chapter 2435. Reincarnation Priest Lin Feng looked at Jun Emoshi and shook his head with a grin. I was lucky. You came to Fortune City to become core disciples, I heard. What kind of exam do you have to take? The continent of the 9 clouds is in a state of chaos, so the exam will be a bit different. Every 10 years, there will be a round and the Fortune Shrine will recruit core disciples. People of all cultivation levels will have the opportunity to participate, and the exam will be different depending on the different cultivation levels. In any case, it will be extremely difficult. We will do our best. I hope we'll have the opportunity to become core disciples like you. Jun Emoshi smiled. During the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, they had failed. Such opportunities were rare. Yes, it's difficult to understand the shrines if you don't become core disciples. This time, I hope we will succeed, said Ho Qing Lin solemnly. When is the exam going to take place? Asked Lin Feng. In 70 days, replied Ho Qing Lin. All right, I'll take you somewhere first, then. I think it'll help you become stronger, said Lin Feng, smiling at his 2 friends. Ho Qing Lin and Jun Emoshi were curious when they arrived in a secret cultivation room. It was isolated from the world. Lin Feng took Jun Emoshi and Ho Qing Lin out to the Star World. Jun Emoshi and Ho Qing Lin were some of his best friends. Lin Feng wanted to help them become stronger. He also wanted to give them some medium-level saints' weapons. They were already saints, so they could use medium-level saints' weapons even if they couldn't make the most out them. Before the exam started, Ho Qing Lin and Jun Emoshi left the Star World, arriving in front of an illusory castle. It was similar to Fortune City when Lin Feng had gone there from the small world. Someone took Ho Qing Lin and Jun Emoshi into the castle while Lin Feng and the diviner stood aside. They were at the top of a mountain range and could see everything. Master, that's? Lin Feng glanced at a mountain. A waterfall coming from the sky flowed onto it. There were some old people there, their eyes closed. There were many people seated next to them, all looking down at the castle. People who organize the exam choose core disciples. Lin Feng, if you wish, you can also choose disciples, the diviner told him. That'd only harm the younger generation, said Lin Feng, shaking his head. He preferred focusing on cultivation. He didn't feel like teaching. The exam is starting, whispered the diviner. Lin Feng was staring at Ho Qing Lin and Jun Emoshi. They were in the same place as some other saints who had entered the castle with them. It was a vast hilly place. Many ordinary disciples of the Fortune Shrine were hiding there. They were guarding. The examinees had to break through them to move on to the next round. They're all disciples who have just become saints. So many people are hiding, breaking through must be difficult, murmured Lin Feng. Becoming a core disciple is indeed not easy, said the diviner softly. Ho Qing Lin, Jun Emoshi, and the others started moving forwards. The hills and hiding places were not real, they were made of saint strength and breaking them was impossible, so resorting to trickery was impossible too. They have to break through and then cross a tunnel. They all have to go through 8 blockades, said the diviner. Very quickly, Ho Qing Lin arrived in front of his first opponent. Their battle was explosive. Ho Qing Lin's reincarnation strength was incredible. He kept moving forwards with an indomitable will. Flinching wasn't part of his vocabulary. Even if his opponent was extremely strong, Ho Qing Lin's reincarnation strength could defeat them. Your friend is an insane fighter, the diviner observed. Back then, when we hadn't broken through to the Huang Qi layer yet, he said being insane was a necessity to become an emperor. Even though he has an exceptional talent and a distinguished appearance, his fighting method has never changed. He's always been crazy, laughed Lin Feng. Ho Qing Lin's fighting abilities were indeed impressive. Even if Ho Ching Lin was injured, he wanted to make his opponents drown in reincarnation strength. Nobody dared risk their life against him. Very quickly, he defeated his first opponent. Jun Mo Shi also faced his first opponent. Their fight was straightforward and explosive. They had a close combat. Imperial immortal body, he looks like a king of hell, the diviner observed. At the same cultivation level, even if someone can defeat him, it's almost impossible to kill him unless the enemy has some sort of special power. The guards aren't strong enough, otherwise it would be difficult for them to move on, noted Lin Feng. Huh, you mean we should have sent core disciples who were low-level saints? That would have been extremely difficult and unfair. After all, they aren't core disciples yet. We can't only test their fighting abilities, we also need to test their intent. Ho Ching Lin and Jun Mo Shi made great efforts and passed the test of the first round. Brother Ho is on the right path to create a perfect saint's technique. When he succeeds, his attacks will be even more terrifying, Lin Feng pointed out. You noticed that too? Indeed, that kind of saint's technique is great, agreed the diviner. Among the people who had just become saints, there were 28 contestants. The majority of them were people from Fortune City. At lower cultivation levels, among people who weren't saints yet, there were many contestants, yet only 12 people passed the first exam. Jun Mo Shi and Ho Ching Lin continued on, arriving in an illusory place. Lin Feng didn't understand what kind of exam it was. After this, their obsessiveness will be tested. It will be extremely difficult. During this part, some people will be badly injured, some of them will even die. That's scary. Lin Feng's face stiffened. Yes, we will see how determined they are. Many people are talented and good at fighting. However, intent is rare and crucial, replied the diviner grimly. The examinees continued walking in the illusion. Nothing happened, but Lin Feng knew it was going to be difficult. An hour passed and someone suddenly groaned with pain and coughed up blood, his face deathly pale. Lin Feng's heart twitched, noting that person was injured. Very quickly, a second person was injured. He moved back and left, giving up. Half a day passed, and of the 12 people, 7 people were injured or gave up. Only 5 persevered. As expected, it's very difficult. Lin Feng's face stiffened. Ho Ching Lin continued moving forwards, bathing in reincarnation lights. Many shadows appeared around him. What's that? Lin Feng was astonished. Worlds of reincarnation appeared around Ho Ching Lin. Good little boy. He's very determined. He can even improve his own natural abilities like that, said the diviner. His eyes twinkled. An old man at the foot of the waterfall suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Ho Ching Lin. I want that one to become my disciple. The other old men nodded. They didn't try to steal him away. The diviner looked happy and said, Lin Feng, your friend is definitely going to become a core disciple, and he's extremely lucky. Who's that master? Asked Lin Feng. A senior official of the Fortune Shrine who hasn't shown up for tens of thousands of years. He is the reincarnation priest. Tens of thousands of years ago, he was already a peerless saint. Then, the continent of the 9 clouds became chaotic and our leader had him come back. Ho Ching Lin is going to become his disciple. That's an extraordinary opportunity for him, the diviner beamed. You know what peerless means? The reincarnation priest has made several sorts of special original strengths fused together to become a peerless saint, asked Lin Feng. He became peerless thanks to the 6 great karma wheel divisions, the diviner beamed. Lin Feng was impressed. His fellow disciple was going to have an incredible opportunity, indeed. The second round is about transcending worldliness, getting rid of the self. The third round is going to be easy for him. Everything will happen naturally, said the diviner. Ho Ching Lin, as expected, left the castle easily. He looked around at the crowd, seemingly surprised. Fellow disciple, congratulations, said Lin Feng to Ho Ching Lin telepathically. At that moment, Ho Ching Lin didn't understand. His facial expression was funny. Come here, the reincarnation priest said to Ho Ching Lin. Ho Ching Lin looked at him. Lin Feng said to him telepathically, Brother, he's a peerless saint of the Fortune Shrine. Go. Ho Ching Lin was surprised and slowly walked towards the old man. He bowed and said, "Greetings, Master." "Would you like to become my disciple?" asked the old man, smiling at Ho Ching Lin. Ho Ching Lin was stupefied. He said, "I have 2 teachers, they're like fathers to me. I can't have another teacher." Lin Feng was astonished, but then smiled. Brother Ho was the same old Brother Ho, he hadn't changed. "All right, you refuse to forget your former teachers even when facing someone like me. Come with me, I won't force you," said the reincarnation priest. He was a bit annoyed when Ho Ching Lin had refused, but he also admired and appreciated such people. Ho Ching Lin was a good person. "Thank you very much, Master," said Ho Ching Lin, bowing deeply. He glanced at Lin Feng and then entered the fortune shrine with the reincarnation priest. Chapter 2436. Support needed in Diu City. Only 3 people passed the exam at the level of new saints. After Ho Ching Lin, Zhu Nemoshi also passed. He was extremely determined. The diviner thought highly of both of them. They had very different personalities. Ho Ching Lin was crazy, while Zhu Nemoshi was determined. Teachers noticed them other two, but they weren't as lucky as Ho Ching Lin. No Peerless saint wanted to recruit them as disciples, so they left with high-level saints. The difference between saints of different levels was incredible. The difference between someone who had just become a saint and a high-level saint was gigantic. Therefore they were happy anyway. There are so many great emperors, their exam lasts much longer. "But 10 people at most will become core disciples," murmured the diviner, looking over the great emperors. "The majority of them are geniuses from Fortune City and the passing rate is still so low. 10 disciples in a year, the exam is so difficult," whispered Lin Feng. "At the scale of the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds, 10 years are nothing. Even 100 years are nothing. It's a great opportunity for many people," the diviner smiled. Lin Feng nodded. At his cultivation level, 10 years were really short. Sometimes he could practice cultivation and meditate in seclusion for a few years, and it felt as if a few days had passed. Some old members of the Fortune Shrine sometimes practiced cultivation for tens of thousands of years. Lin Feng, in the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds, the Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine keep oppressing us. They want to steal Diu City from us. We've already sent 3 high-level saints to protect it. However, the 2 shrines are determined too. They sent 4 high-level saints, 18 low-level saints, 36 half-saints, and an army of great emperors. They sent such a terrifying army for a city? Lin Feng was astonished. When 2 shrines joined hands, things became even scarier. The shrines weren't fighting in one city only. There were explosive battles everywhere. The shrines had probably asked all their saints to come back for battles. They were getting ready for a great war. Indeed, the battles aren't happening in the shadows. The battles are now in the open and they're growing in size. For example, in the past, we used to try and keep Fortune City under control. Of course, we were interested in surrounding cities, especially big ones, but now all the shrines are trying to conquer new cities, especially those in which there are influential groups. Diu City is an extraordinary city. It's situated in the middle of the Fortune Shrine, the Fire Shrine, and the Empty Space Shrine. Many geniuses come from that city. Many of them have become powerful and influential. Many shrines' disciples are from Diu City. Some influential groups in Diu City are extremely powerful. Therefore, I hope we won't lose it, said the diviner grimly. Lin Feng understood. They needed to fight on all fronts. The battles were going to last for a long time, and they needed much energy. At the same time, they needed to be resistant. They needed to be able to survive until the end. "Master, how may I help?" said Lin Feng. "We don't have enough fighters. Apart from the strong cultivators who are in the Fortune Shrine most of the time, we also called all our strong cultivators back. We had never done that before. But even like that, we don't have enough fighters," the diviner said to Lin Feng. "Last time, I told you, Peerless saints would only get involved in the end. When they fight, it will be the end of the chaotic era. Now, we're competing slowly, and high-level saints are at the core of the battles. Therefore, I hope you can become a high-level saint as soon as possible." At the level of high-level saints, our fighters have the advantage in DU City. But our half-saints and low-level saints are facing difficulties. I need you to use another identity and go to DU City to help. But first, let's wait for the 3 new recruits to become strong enough, then you'll take them there. No problem. But how long will my fellow disciple and Jun Emoshi need before being able to go to DU City? Replied Lin Feng. Don't worry about that, the battles over the big cities will not end in a few years. Besides, I already told the fighters I dispatched not to fight. They can waste some time like that, we won't lose quickly that way. However, it also means that our enemies will send more and more strong cultivators there, they will have the advantage, and when you go there, things will be even more difficult. But at that moment, if we send people who can compete with all of them, we won't let any of them escape. Quality is better than quantity. That's why we're not afraid of waiting. I understand. Lin Feng nodded. At the level of saints, even if some people lost, it didn't necessarily mean their enemies could kill them unless there was a huge level difference between them. You go back. When they're ready, I'll tell you. All right, Lin Feng agreed. He left and headed to his own palace. The diviner was in charge of establishing the military strategies of the Fortune Shrine. The Peerless Saints didn't seem to be doing anything. Lin Feng was wondering just how strong the leader of the Fortune Shrine was. And even though he was the leader, could he compete with the other Peerless Saints of the Fortune Shrine? He didn't know yet. Lin Feng didn't go far. He practiced cultivation calmly. He wanted to reach the next step of his god level. A year quickly passed, and the diviner came to him and told him to change his face. He took him to meet Jun Emoshi and Ho Qing Lin. They're coming too? Asked Lin Feng. There were great emperors around, they had also passed the previous exam. Yes, they are core disciples now, take them to DU City. After that, let Saint Qing Yi organize everything, said the diviner. All right. Lin Feng nodded and said to Ho Qing Lin and Jun Emoshi telepathically, fellow disciple, Emoshi, it's me, I need to hide my real identity. Call me Mu Lin now. The two were surprised, but then they understood that if the shrines knew he was Lin Feng, they would encircle him and kill him. I transmitted you the location and map of DU City. You can go, said the diviner patiently. All right. Lin Feng waved and an ancient boat appeared. It was a medium-level saint's weapon, and its speed was incredible. It was perfect for the occasion. Let's go, said Lin Feng. The group of people jumped into the boat and rapidly left. The diviner watched them leave and smiled. Qing Yi, that's all I can do for you. I hope you'll claim DU City. DU City was gigantic, and there were many incredible clans there. One of them was the Yi clan. However, the Yi clan had been completely destroyed, only ruins were left. That's the Yi clan? When the group of people flew above the Yi clan in the boat, they were startled as they only saw ruins. This is the place the diviner marked on the map. Something must have happened, murmured Lin Feng. A figure came out of the ruins and challenged them. Where do you come from? Who are you? Challenged Lin Feng sharply. You recognize this? Asked the person. His third eye twinkled, it looked like a fortune star. Lin Feng and the others recognized it, a Fortune Shrine's disciple. Lin Feng and the others' third eyes also twinkled, that person nodded and said, you came to help, right? The Yi clan was attacked by surprise, come with me. All right, said Lin Feng and the others. Lin Feng asked, how bad are the losses? The battles here are direct. They know we're everywhere here, so they don't try and hide. They attack directly, mostly relying on strength. We suffered severe losses. 3 of our saints died. We also lost many great emperors. It's a tragedy. The Yi clan is completely destroyed. Lin Feng and the others took a deep breath. The Yi clan had been completely destroyed, that was a tragedy indeed. How is the Fortune Shrine's disciple who's also from the Yi clan? He escaped. He feels desperate, he wants to kill the enemies. They destroyed the Yi clan because they didn't want us to have a place to stay here. They destroyed the Yi clan as an example to others, thought Lin Feng. How tragic. They had directly destroyed the Yi clan. Chapter 2437. Counterattack: the strong cultivators of the Fortune Shrine used the Yi clan as a headquarters because a member of the Yi clan was also a core disciple of the Fortune Shrine. The Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine had decided to destroy the Yi clan to show all other clans that they better cut off ties with the Fortune Shrine. When the Yi clan was destroyed, Lin Feng and the others were already on their way. The strong cultivators of the Fortune Shrine knew that, so they had one disciple hide in the ruins to receive them. The disciple took them to an ordinary yet large courtyard. It looked ordinary from the outside and didn't attract people's attention. Lin Feng sighed. The situation was difficult for the Fortune Shrine. A group of figures arrived. When they saw Lin Feng and the others, their eyes twinkled. But they looked desperate. A middle-aged man said, "You're the only ones who came?" Lin Feng was shocked. They were indeed only 4 saints. 3 of them were half-saints. No wonder the man was devastated and disappointed. These people wouldn't be able to change anything. "Yes, you know that the Fortune Shrine is under pressure. Only the 4 of us could come," replied Lin Feng. "Never mind. Let's go and see Officer Qin Yi," said that person, turning around. During wartime, they called high-level saints officer. Saint Qin Yi was thus an officer. The middle-aged man brought Lin Feng and the others to a building in the depths of the courtyard to talk. A few people were standing there. The leader of the group was a clean and elegant middle-aged man. He looked at Lin Feng and the others and asked, "Mu Lin?" "Greetings, Officer Qin Yi," Lin Feng replied. "Mu Zhen, go and tell them their tasks," Qin Yi told the middle-aged man, pointing at the great emperors. "All right." Mu Zhen nodded and left to assign different tasks to the great emperors. "You saw what happened to the Yi clan. We don't have the advantage here. If they manage to kill us, they'll take control over Diu City," said Qin Yi to Lin Feng. "I'm touched and impressed you came at such a moment, but you have to be prepared psychologically. This war is very dangerous." "I understand," said Lin Feng. "It was a battle to death." "Officer Qin Yi, how many saints are left on our side here?" 3 high-level saints, they aren't injured. 7 low-level saints. 17 half-saints, and that's including you guys," said Qin Yi to Lin Feng. "Our enemies have joined hands. They have 4 high-level saints, 18 low-level saints, and 36 half-saints. Has anything changed?" "Yes, they now control a few clans, who have already submitted. They also took some of their strong cultivators to make them participate in the battles," said Qin Yi. "The enemies didn't have fewer fighters, they had even more." "I understand," said Lin Feng. "Why did the diviner only send 4 people?" "It would have been better not to send anyone at all," spoke up the woman next to Qin Yi. She looked heroic and valiant in her armor, but also annoyed. She was initially very happy. She had thought the Fortune Shrine would send many strong cultivators. In the end, they had sent only 4 saints. "Mou, you know perfectly well how the situation of the Fortune Shrine is. Don't be angry, you're too old for that. Tell Mu Lin and the others more about the situation of the shrine," Qin Yi ordered the woman. Mou nodded. Even though she was annoyed, she knew things were complicated for the shrine. "Come with me," Mou told Lin Feng and the others. They moved over in front of a golden map. It was a map of Diu City. "Mu Lin, we're here now," said Mou, pointing at place on the map. Lin Feng's heart twitched. They were stuck in a corner. "This territory is already occupied by the Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine. Here, it's the Hong clan, here the Lung clan. They are present in those 9 places. They have probably dispatched great emperors everywhere in Diu City, first to see what's going everywhere, and second because they are about to take control over the whole city. This map is small, so it's as if they had already taken over the whole city, but Diu City is gigantic. They're still not altogether in one place," said Lin Feng. "The 9 places they occupy already have teleportation portals. They can teleport themselves everywhere in the twinkling of an eye. They also have many empty space deployment talismans. Therefore, they dispersed in 9 different places because they know they can easily meet anywhere. So attacking them is useless, as they will directly converge and attack us," said Mou. "No wonder with the Empty Space Shrine," said Jun Moshi. "It didn't look good for them. We can do the same." Give me some time and I'll make some teleportation deployment talismans, said Lin Feng. You can make teleportation talismans? Asked Mou. Yes, I can, said Lin Feng nodded. Making talismans was easy for him at his cultivation level, and he also controlled empty space type original strength. Therefore, his teleportation talismans were definitely going to be good. Good news then. If you can make teleportation talismans, even if they encircle us, if we use the talismans before they seal the area around us, we'll be fine. If we want to seal the area around them, they'll also use teleportation talismans immediately. No wonder. We didn't have the advantage from the beginning, thought Lin Feng. Mou showed them where they could stay. Lin Feng made some talismans for a few days. He gave them to everybody, relieving them greatly. They hadn't felt so assured for a while, but still, they couldn't gain the advantage. Mou, come with me, Lin Feng said to Mou. Her eyes twinkling, she followed Lin Feng as they arrived in front of the golden map. Lin Feng showed her the Hong clan and said, they have 18 low-level saints. They occupy 9 places, therefore, each of their places has around 2 low-level saints. Let's go and destroy one of their territories. We can only attack once by surprise, and if we do, they'll be very vigilant. They might even chase us. It's a bad choice, said Mou shaking her head. Don't exaggerate. The 5 of us can go, that's more than enough, said Lin Feng. Mou was stupefied. The 5 of us? She glanced at Jun Mo Shi and Ho Qing Lin. If the 5 of them went, it'd be extremely dangerous, and they would definitely not be able to defeat their opponents. Indeed, the 5 of us, you don't trust me? Said Lin Feng to Mou. It's not that, but we're such a small force we can't do anything, said Mou frowning. Let's try and see. Don't forget, we also have very powerful deployment talismans. You tried one, we can use them and leave instantly, said Lin Feng smiled. Don't worry. I'm not going to put my life at stake recklessly. Mou was surprised. She looked at him and said, all right Mu Lin. What kind of strength do you control? It's quite complex to explain. Asked Lin Feng. Empty space sealing strength and world creation, replied Mou. Lin Feng's eyes twinkled as Mou continued talking, but it's not very useful. We don't have many people, so our enemies won't let us escape. And if we aren't able to destroy them quickly, even if they're weaker than us, they'll call their friends and they'll be there instantly, and then we'll be in danger. I know what to do. So just tell me, will you help or not? Asked Lin Feng, staring at Mou. Mou's eyes glittered and she nodded. I'll try and help you. All right, let's go to the Lung clan first, said Lin Feng. He turned around and started walking away. Mou hadn't thought Lin Feng would be so determined. She followed him and asked, why the Lung clan? There can never be too much subterfuge in war, said Lin Feng calmly. He left the building and they flew into the air. After they left, 3 people appeared in the building, one of them Saint Qingyi. He watched them leave and smiled. That's the boy all the shrines want. I wonder if he can prove himself on the battlefield of Diyu City. Maradeva had him come to Diyu City. He has something in mind. Maybe that it's to pave the way for him, whispered the person next to him. They knew that Mu Lin was Lin Feng. Chapter 2438. Illusion Finger. The Lung clan was a clan in Diyu City. They were very strong. 2 people in the Lung clan were seated under a pavilion in the garden, playing chess. Some people were standing next to them and watching. How long do you think we'll need to take over Diyu City? Asked a middle-aged man wearing a fire robe while putting down his piece. I'm sure it's feasible within 3 years, if they don't hide the whole time, replied his opponent. He was wearing fine golden clothes, and was also a middle-aged man. They were strong cultivators from the Empty Space Shrine and the Fire Shrine. The Lung clan was one of the territories they had taken over. I bet we'll need less than 3 years, said the Fire Shrine saint. Last time, we already taught them a good lesson. If we have another opportunity to do the same a second time, they'll leave of their own free will. I would prefer it if they stayed here forever, laughed the Empty Space Shrine's strong cultivator, laughing. He suddenly frowned and said, there's Sword Chi. The Fire Shrine's strong cultivator also sensed it. His eyes glittered as he heard a sound in the distance. Sword lights flew past his shoulder, breaking and snapping sounds spread in the air. The ancient palace next to them crackled, a fissure appeared, and with a loud roar, the palace exploded. A huge trail appeared on the ground leading right through it. Everybody, get ready to fight, inform the other military bases and activate the teleportation portals, said someone coldly. They released their godly awareness as they rose up into the air. A few sword lights descended from the sky and moved in different directions. More fissures appeared on the ground. The saints in the sky looked furious. The fortune shrine was there to get their revenge? Only one person is attacking, said the fire shrine saint. Watch out and remain vigilant. Wait for the others to teleport here and then we'll act together, said another cultivator. Very quickly, the deployment portals twinkled and figures appeared. Saint's strength filled the air. They moved forwards, but paused when they saw a figure in the sky. He was smiling icily as he said, "Scoundrels, members of the Lung clan, listen to me. The Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine decided to completely destroy the clan where the disciples of the Fortune Shrine were. They are cruel and decided to act with utter disregard for principles. We will definitely get our revenge. From now on, if you continue cooperating with them, we'll have no choice but to destroy you." Another sword light streaked across the sky, and a valley appeared through the very middle of the Lung clan. The crowd was astonished. What a disaster for them! The shrines were almost better off than those clans. Capture him, some people flickered. They broke their deployment talismans and appeared around Lin Feng. However, at the same time, Lin Feng disappeared. All that remained was some pale undulating energy. Deployment talisman? The group of strong cultivators frowned in astonishment. One of them said, "Follow the empty space strength and chase him. He's alone. I don't think he disappeared." The one who had just talked also disappeared, following Lin Feng. He reappeared somewhere else in the sky, but then frowned. The undulating strength seemed to be even farther, which meant Lin Feng was even farther away. He broke another deployment talisman. The group of people chased Lin Feng as fast as they could, but in the end, they still didn't find him. Inform the other bases and tell them to be careful. The Fortune Shrine is attacking us by surprise. Tell them the members of the Fortune Shrine also have teleportation deployment talismans, said a strong cultivator. Everybody started contacting other people. Even though they hadn't lost any cultivators, it made them feel very nervous, especially since the enemy had tried to scare the clans of Diyu City by saying they would destroy them if they collaborated with the Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine. Very quickly, the saints of the Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine received messages about what had happened in the Lung clan. They had been attacked by surprise, so they had to be careful. The sky of Diyu City turned rosy red. It was a beautiful sight. Outside of the Hong clan, a group was walking in the direction of the Hong clan. Some people were staring at them. Threads of godly awareness appeared in front of them as they asked the group icily, "Who are you?" "Fortune Shrine's members," said Lin Feng smiled. The person who had just asked him that looked shocked, but then threads of death intent pierced through his body and he collapsed. More threads of godly awareness appeared, but Lin Feng also released his godly awareness, covering the sky of the Hong clan. "I'll be right back," said Lin Feng, breaking a deployment talisman. He reappeared somewhere else in the sky. Underneath him was a shimmering teleportation portal. A terrifying sword chi descended from the sky. Sword strength condensed all around him and slashed through the teleportation portal. "Stop him!" A group of people moved towards Lin Feng. "Break!" shouted Lin Feng icily. He moved towards the teleportation portal, sword lights showering down. There was a loud explosion as the portal was blown apart. What a powerful attack! The guards were astonished. The teleportation portal was extremely resilient. Low-level saints couldn't break it, but he had. How scary! "World," said a voice icily. A gigantic light curtain appeared in the sky and surrounded the area. It was a sealing world strength. 5 people, 2 low-level saints. The group of strong cultivators glanced at the intruders and finally saw them clearly. They didn't use any deployment talismans. They used deployment talismans only when they faced enemies stronger than them. Since Lin Feng and the others weren't stronger, they didn't elect to escape. Hong Dong-lu, you and I fight against him. You guys fight against the others, said an empty space shrine's low-level saint, staring at Lin Feng. That guy's sword attacks were powerful. 2 low-level saints had to join hands to fight against him. He let the fire shrine's low-level saints fight against the woman. In total, there were 3 low-level saints and 6 half-saints there. Finish them as quickly as you can, said Lin Feng. Even though he had destroyed the teleportation portal, enemies could also come quickly. They had to fight and solve the issue fast. Lin Feng looked at Hong Dong-lu. That guy was probably a saint of the Hong clan, which meant that he was unlikely to be very strong. Lin Feng shot towards Hong Dong-lu, faster than the other would really believe. Illusion, said Lin Feng. Hong Dong-lu was astonished. Illusion? Illusion strength filled the air, but he didn't feel like he was appearing in an illusion. Nothing happened? The low-level saint of the empty space shrine threw a golden hand at Lin Feng, trying to grab him directly. Lin Feng slapped the air in front of him, and energies rolled out towards the golden hand. The space around them shook violently. It contained earth strength, and it was becoming more and more powerful. When it collided with the hand, the gigantic empty space hand exploded into pieces. Hong Dong-lu, die, said Lin Feng, pointing at Hong Dong-lu. Hong Dong-lu withdrew, but sensed that he was slowing down. Lin Feng had released slow strength onto him and condensed fast strength in his finger. Hong Dong-lu looked a bit surprised. Die, said Lin Feng. Hong Dong-lu was astonished. Lin Feng hadn't even gotten close to him and he was already attacking? Be careful. Hong Dong-lu heard. He was stunned. Something was ripping through his brain. His face paled as he stared at Lin Feng. He couldn't believe it. How is that possible? His brain exploded and he fell from the sky. He didn't even know how he had died. It was an attack Lin Feng had practiced for years. He created an illusion, but the enemy didn't know he was in an illusion. It was as if nothing changed around them, and then suddenly, Lin Feng was in front of them. Now Lin Feng had improved the attack because he had condensed even more sorts of original strength in his finger. The attack was shapeless, invisible, and intangible. The strong cultivators of the empty space shrine were astonished. How could a low-level saint have been so careless? Lin Feng had definitely used a terrifying attack. Break free from this territory and disperse, said the low-level saint of the empty space shrine. They had to act promptly. They wanted to give up. He didn't feel like fighting against Lin Feng even if he was holding a saint's weapon. In the end, Ho Qing Lin had acknowledged him as a teacher, not differently from his 2 teachers. His teacher had then taught him the 6 Great Karma Wheel Division's attack, but Ho Qing Lin's attack was much weaker. Ho Qing Lin had seen his teacher use the 6 Great Karma Wheel Divisions. When his teacher used it, the earth and the sky emitted sad and plaintive cries. It could destroy entire populations. Nobody could escape. Ho Qing Lin hadn't even been able to see the intent inside because it was so complex. Ho Qing Lin jumped forwards and killed him. At the same time, Lin Feng's god sword penetrated into the empty space shrine's low-level saint's forehead and killed him. The fire shrine's low-level saint against whom MOU was fighting was the only one left, and that battle wasn't difficult for MOU. At that moment, breaking sounds came from outside, alerting them. Oh no! MOU's face changed drastically. The others arrived. They're attacking my sealed world. The fire shrine's low-level saint retreated. The others moved back to the edge of the sealed world. If the sealed world broke apart, they'd be able to leave safely. Then they'd counterattack and surround them. Everybody come, let's get ready to disperse, said MOU. They gathered together. If the sealed world broke apart, they'd all leave together. It's not that easy. They may have sealed the area outside, said Lin Feng. MOU looked worried. Those people were really fast. But even if they did, those people are, at most, those who were near the Hong clan stationary base, so we don't have anything to fear, said Lin Feng. He took out a spear, a medium-level saint's weapon. If he used his 2 other saint's weapons, people would recognize him. He had to use a different kind of saint's weapon. The long spear shot towards the fire shrine's low-level saint, who glared at Lin Feng anxiously. The fire shrine's strong cultivator was desperate. 2 low-level saints had already been killed by Lin Feng. He was scared. He condensed fire original strength, and the space around him started burning as fire giants appeared all around him. At the same time, a fire god appeared around him, bathing him in flames. The earth and the sky started burning too, turning everything glaring red. Die! He shouted furiously. The fire giants stretched out their hands at Lin Feng. So many hands appeared all around Lin Feng. A terrifying absorbing strength emerged from his spear. The fire turned into a beam of light and was drawn into the spear. The spear turned bright red. That saint's weapon contains absorbing strength. The fire shrine's strong cultivator pulled a long face. A terrifying dragon appeared and absorbed the energies around him. The spear continued absorbing the fire strength, and the fire giants slowed down as Lin Feng released slow strength. Lin Feng turned into a beam of light. He threw his spear and condensed fast strength in it. It was impossible to follow it with the eye. The fire shrine's saint screamed defiantly. The giant behind him threw out his hand. Die, said Lin Feng. His spear shot towards the other's third eye. The fire shrine's strong cultivator was astonished. He couldn't believe it his eyes. How was this possible? Flames invaded the space around him. He was bathing in flames, but he had no time to release his full strength. His attack vanished into nothing. Lin Feng's slow and fast strengths were incredible, and when he used such attacks against half-saints, they couldn't do anything at all. They just died instantly. How strong! Mou shivered when she saw Lin Feng. She had hopes again. Maybe this Mu Lin could really change things in Diu City. At that moment, her sealed world broke apart, and a group of people appeared outside. When they saw that their allies had disappeared inside, they were shocked. Come with me, said Lin Feng. He released fast strength which surrounded the whole group, and they shot away. Lin Feng released earth and empty space original strength and condensed it into his spear. He accelerated and reached his maximum speed. Let's go! Lin Feng and the others sensed a terrifying energy fill the air in the distance. They broke talismans and disappeared. As expected, they have deployment talismans. The strong cultivators didn't chase them, as the strongest cultivators of the Hong clan had been killed. Very quickly, even more people gathered and pulled long faces. One of their stationary bases had been destroyed by their enemy, and none of their soldiers were left. We need to inform the 4 other officers that a strong cultivator has shown up. He can easily kill low-level saints in a short time, and even destroy a stationary base, said one of them. They had to think of ways to protect themselves. They couldn't let the same thing happen again. It's a sensitive period. They definitely don't have a great strategy yet. They must be badly organized right now. It's an opportunity for you, but that strategy requires lots of deployment talismans to escape, and it's also very dangerous, said Yanqing. Lin Feng and the others looked thoughtful. I don't think it's that dangerous. It's only dangerous for those who get attacked by surprise, said Jun Emoshi. After attacking, they could leave immediately. You can do that. I'll attack alone, said Lin Feng to the people. No. If there are many people, we can all disperse and move in different directions, which would be good to distract them. If you're alone, they might set a trap and catch you. There are many saints from the empty space shrine among our enemies. They are experts at controlling empty space energy. They can seal the area anytime, said Ho Ching Lin, shaking his head. He didn't want to let Lin Feng take risks alone. It's precisely the reason why I think it's the best if I attack alone. The more people we are, the more dangerous it gets for us, said Lin Feng. Don't worry. My goal is only to kill a low-level saint. We can slowly kill their low-level saints, and then at some point, they'll have as many low-level saints as us. Then, we won't be in a weak position anymore. Are you worried about me? Said Lin Feng smiling. Let's do it like that. All right, I agree, said Mou. What do you want me to do? Feign an attack? I'll just listen to you. My life is your hands. All right, I'll protect you then, said Lin Feng, smiling and nodding. Since they had already attacked by surprise once, they couldn't attack a second time by surprise, so Lin Feng hoped the strategy would work. He hoped he'd manage to kill a low-level saint, and 2 would be even better. "Where do we act?" asked Yan Qing. "The Lung clan. Last time, we went there, but didn't take anything from them. This time, it has to change." Lin Feng grinned nastily. The others nodded. "All right," said Yan Qing. They were all extraordinary people, otherwise, they wouldn't have passed. They admired Lin Feng though. He could make deployment talismans, he had incredible fighting abilities, even Mou admired and respected him. "All right, let's do it then, dear friends," said Lin Feng smiling. "We're done with the details, I think. Should we go?" All right, everybody agreed. They wanted to help Lin Feng kill a low-level saint, at least one, and if they succeeded, the Fortune Shrine would feel less pressured. It was dawn in Diyu City. After what had happened on the previous evening, the Fire Shrine and the Empty Space Shrine were extremely nervous, and even the Lung clan was nervous. They had been attacked on the day before, but luckily, they hadn't lost any saint, just some face. But the Lung clan didn't know what to do. They were occupied by shrines. What could they do? They couldn't say anything. Even if they hoped the shrines would change their stationary base, they couldn't say anything. The continent of the 9 clouds was in a state of chaos. All the clans had their own ideas and none wanted to be destroyed. The relations they had with other groups was complex. A few li away from the gate of the Lung clan, someone appeared, walking slowly. That person was wearing ordinary clothes, a hat, and looked like a tourist. It was Lin Feng about to attack the Lung clan. He had gotten prepared. Mou and the others were going to attack the Lung clan by surprise, and then Lin Feng would attack once the situation was chaotic and try to kill a low-level saint. That was his plan. But as Lin Feng got closer to the Lung clan, he didn't feel safe. The sensation was becoming more and more intense. That kind of feeling, it's the intuition I get because of the Celestial Dao Destiny technique. It could be dangerous, thought Lin Feng, frowning. He didn't feel relaxed at all, and acted promptly. He took out a talisman and said, "Plan cancelled. Disperse." "We're about to attack, how could we give up?" replied Mou. At that moment, an attack descended from the sky and attacked the Lung clan. "Disperse, Jun Mo Shi, fellow disciple, Yan Qing, disperse," said Lin Feng, contacting everyone personally. Lin Feng realized that the ground under his feet was golden. Lights surrounded his body. Those lights surrounded everybody li away, including the members of the Lung clan. What a powerful attack. The atmosphere is becoming chaotic. Only a high-level saint could do that, thought Lin Feng. He was petrified. He took out a deployment talisman and broke it. However, he didn't disappear. The atmosphere around him was in chaos. He couldn't control anything. Lin Feng pulled a long face. This deployment spell could constrict deployment talismans. Mou realized that too. Mou was stupefied. This time, they hadn't destroyed the teleportation portal. The situation was extremely dangerous. "Officer Qing Yi, we're in the Lung clan and we're in danger. Help us." Mou sensed danger and immediately contacted Qing Yi. The Lung clan's teleportation portal kept flashing. Qi filled the air. Mou saw strong cultivators moving towards them. "Go!" shouted Mou urgently. Jun Mo Shi, Ho Qing Lin, and Qing Lin dispersed. "Come here." A dazzling light streaked across the sky. It was Lin Feng, riding a saint's weapon. Mou was stupefied and said, "Moron! Who told you to show yourself?" Lin Feng smiled at the angry Mou and said, "You're the moron, I told you I'd protect you." He shot towards Ho Qing Lin and said, "Come here." Ho Qing Lin, Jun Mo Shi, and Yan Qing weren't very strong. If they stayed alone, they would be in danger, especially if they couldn't use deployment talismans. They wouldn't be able to escape. Chapter 2441. Encircling a furious warrior, Lin Feng's boat moved extremely quickly. He didn't intend to battle at all and flew away. However, they saw talismans appeared in front of them. A dazzling golden wall appeared and flashed unceasingly before them. "Break!" Lin Feng threw his spear at the wall. It hit hard, but only a small hole appeared. It wasn't big enough. Lin Feng and the others pulled long faces. Bad luck. Their 3 high-level saints seemed to know a lot about deployment spells. After what happened in the Hong clan, they cast such a gigantic deployment spell, and now we're inside it, said Mou. She was very nervous. If the high-level saints attacked them, they'd die quickly. They didn't stand a chance against high-level saints. The difference between them and low-level saints was gigantic. They're not in a rush, they're gathering strong cultivators. They don't want to take the risk to attack alone, said Ho Ching Lin, turning his head around and gazing into the distance. Their enemies knew they couldn't escape. After what had happened in the Hong clan, their enemies had seen how strong they were. If they could kill low-level saints in such a short time, they couldn't afford taking risks. They had to be very vigilant. The high-level saints haven't shown up yet, Lin Feng said coldly when he saw that strong cultivators were gathering. More than 10 low-level saints. Even if their high-level saints don't come, we will all die, unless our people arrive in time, whispered Mou pulling a long face. Did you contact them? Lin Feng asked her. Of course, I don't want to die, said Mou. I know why the high-level saints didn't show up, asked Yanqing. Mou gazed into the distance. The fire shrine and the empty space shrine want to kill us all in one strike, said Yanqing. They guessed the fortune shrine was going to send people to help us, so they thought of a solution to stop them. If it were me, I wouldn't miss that opportunity, Lin Feng nodded. The strong cultivators of the fire shrine and the empty space shrine held the numeric advantage. They had 4 high-level saints. The fortune shrine only had 3. So even if all their low-level saints showed up, it wouldn't change anything since their enemies had more high-level saints. A dozen low-level saints is enough to get rid of us. What should we do now? Said Mou. The enemies could already put pressure on them. Mou, seal the 3 of them within a sealed world, Lin Feng said to her. Mou was startled and protested, You're crazy. There are a dozen low-level saints there, all of them have powerful saints techniques, and they all have saints weapons. Trust me, said Lin Feng. At that moment he looked so calm it was scary. Ho Ching Lin and the others couldn't fight against low-level saints. That's why Lin Feng asked Mou to put them in a sealed world. All right, said Mou. She looked gloomy. When she saw how determined Lin Feng looked, she sealed their allies in a world. During the battle, get ready to release even more sealing strength. Try to seal me and as few people as possible in the same world, Lin Feng said to Mou telepathically. Mou's eyes twinkled. She was surprised but replied, All right, I understand. Stay away for now, I will stay in the front, said Lin Feng, flashing forwards. Their enemies were surprised at his bravery. Mu Lin, be careful, Mou called out. She was extremely nervous. If she wasn't mistaken, the high-level saints of the opposite army had probably gone to fight against the high-level saints of the Fortune Shrine. That way, even if the high-level saints of the Fortune Shrine wanted to come and help, they couldn't. It was a very dangerous situation, as Lin Feng and Mou couldn't escape. At least, she was convinced it was impossible. Lin Feng was firmly holding his spear. He had already fought against many low-level saints in the past in the Star World, but then, the 9 bestial saints were the most powerful of enemies. They disdained the examinees. Of course, at that moment, even though his enemies were not as strong as the bestial saints, they were still very strong, but Lin Feng was also really strong himself. Lin Feng raised his spear and a special chi appeared. Original strength filled the air. Be careful, the space contains illusion original strength. That guy can make people believe nothing has happened. We need to join hands and kill him as quickly as possible, said a strong cultivator of the empty space shrine. His eyes were golden, as if he could see through all things. A dazzling light filled the air. It contained saint strength. All sorts of original strengths started rising up in the air and stirring restlessly. The space started shaking. An invisible and intangible wind started blowing. But in the end, those whirlwinds all moved towards Lin Feng. Die! Shouted a strong cultivator extremely loudly. Dazzling golden light streaked across the sky and turned into cage. Lin Feng was inside. At the same time, above Lin Feng, A gigantic hand appeared and descended from the sky with a rumble of thunder, flames blazing around it. It looked like a burning mountain falling from the sky, red as blood and fire. It burned away all the chi in its way. A sharp golden sword also shot towards Lin Feng. Mu Lin. Mou's face paled. The saints' attacks blotted out the sky and covered the earth. The low-level saints didn't get close to him, but they used their most powerful attacks to kill Lin Feng. Lin Feng flashed away and released a terrifying heavy strength. The atmosphere became heavy and oppressive. It was difficult to breathe. "Slow," said Lin Feng. Everything around him became slow. Then Lin Feng put his spear in front of him. Illusory shadows appeared with 3 heads and 6 arms, ancient imprints appeared around them, and the golden cage tore apart. Chapter 2442. Killing Lin Feng was surrounded and buried by empty space strength. He understood that if the old man was a high-level saint, he would have crushed him instantly, especially if his empty space strength had reached the maximum level. However, the old man was still very strong. Lin Feng's spear contained a powerful absorbing strength. He raised it, and it started absorbing the empty space strength around him furiously. The empty space strength went wild. The golden-eyed old man was startled, his eyes flaring. He raised his hand and an empty space tower appeared above Lin Feng. "Go in," said the old man coldly. The empty space tower descended towards Lin Feng. At the same time, more empty space strength surrounded Lin Feng and constricted him. A saint's weapon. Lin Feng was impressed. It was an extremely powerful saint's weapon that could imprison people. There was definitely a world inside. When the others saw that, they didn't hurry to attack Lin Feng. If the old man managed to capture Lin Feng in his tower, they wouldn't need to continue fighting. Mu Lin, that guy's name is Su Yu, he's a very powerful low-level saint. He is also enigmatic and unfathomable. That tower is called the Holy Imprisoning Pagoda. It's a medium-level saint's weapon, said Mou, her face stiff. The strong cultivator against whom Lin Feng was fighting was famous. His attacks and his holy imprisoning pagoda were fearsome. "Get ready to seal. When I tell you, seal him and me in the same world," replied Lin Feng telepathically. Mou was amazed. This guy was so self-confident. She ground her teeth and released an incredible chi. She said, "All right, when you need me to do it, just tell me I'm ready. It'll last for a few seconds." "That's enough," replied Lin Feng. He released a terrifying sword energy, and the empty space strength which surrounded him crackled and broke apart. He eyed the holy imprisoning pagoda. It was dazzling, and the space around it was chaotic. The holy imprisoning pagoda moved towards Lin Feng, but it couldn't get any closer. Lin Feng had used his great empty space technique. He could use it not only on his own body, but on other things as well. Lin Feng raised his spear. Su Yu saw a rising dragon. His heart twitched. Was he dreaming? It looked so real. "He's using an illusion." Su Yu was startled. Lin Feng said to Mou, "Start." Mou nodded. Suddenly, stars appeared around Lin Feng and Su Yu, and the others' faces changed. "Oh no, kill him." After that, they moved towards the star world together and attacked. At the same time, Lin Feng jumped forwards. It looked like he was walking slowly, but actually, during those few milliseconds, his illusion was corroding his enemy's soul. Su Yu retreated, covered with cold sweat. Suddenly, another dragon moved towards him and opened its mouth. Su Yu released as many empty space lights as he could, trying to crush the dragon even if it was an illusion. However, at the moment the dragon pierced through the empty space strength and turned into a spear, it continued moving towards Su Yu faster than the eye. Su Yu didn't have time to react. He was trembling as a wound appeared on his third eye and blood splashed. Lin Feng waved his hands and sliced into his enemy's forehead, dispersing his soul. Mou was astonished and trembled. Lin Feng had killed a saint again. The attack looked similar to his finger attack. The enemy had hallucinated, and then Lin Feng had killed him without giving him time to react. He was just too fast. The sealing strength broke apart, and the others saw that Su Yu was dead. They were astonished and had chills. That guy had killed Suyu in the blink of an eye. They knew how strong Suyu was. They had to do something against Lin Feng. When the sealed world disappeared, they all charged towards him. They wanted to crush Lin Feng. Slow. Lin Feng released as much slow strength as he could to slow them down. It was as if time and space had stopped around them. However, Lin Feng still felt under pressure. An empty space hand imprint crashed onto his body. He couldn't stop it, and he coughed blood. He looked furious. Many Lin Fengs appeared all around and moved in every direction. Earth burial, said someone coldly. Earth original strength filled the air. Meteorites started falling from the sky. Many of Lin Feng's clones were destroyed. A strong wind started blowing and swept out. More clones exploded. Suddenly, all the strong cultivators saw a different landscape, a dream created by Lin Feng. Then, they all had the impression he was running towards them personally to attack them. The cultivator against whom Lin Feng was really attacking was a middle-aged man. He controlled empty space original strength and 2 other kinds of original strength. He was very dangerous. MOU, shouted Lin Feng. MOU released another sealed star world. Lin Feng and the middle-aged man appeared in a sealed world. Lin Feng was close to him, so sealing them together was easy. Oh no! The others suddenly sensed sealing strength and came back to their senses. They looked at MOU and said, "Kill that woman first." They suddenly started flying towards MOU. She was astonished and grimaced. She raised her hand and took out a stick. It was a star stick. "Break!" shouted MOU. She was extremely sad to do that. Her stick exploded and turned into gigantic stars. The stars turned into a firmly sealed ball with her inside. Powerful attacks bombarded her sealed star world. It crackled, however, it didn't break. It was extremely resistant. She used a medium-level Saint's weapon. "We'll have to attack a few times to break it," said someone. At the same time, they continued attacking her sealed star world unceasingly. Dozens of powerful attacks continued bombarding it. Chapter 2443, Celestial Sealing Map. Lin Feng put his great demon halberd of desolation away, and his demon energies dispersed as his god's sword went back into his hand. He looked at MOU and said, "What's wrong?" MOU was still stunned. Lin Feng looked normal again, but his voice made her heart tremble. She couldn't calm down. She finally shook her head and replied, "Nothing. But this area is still a deployment spell cast by a high-level saint. We can't break it. What do we do?" Ho Qing Lin and Jun Mo Shi came out next to them. Mo Shi had released them already. They were all astonished by Lin Feng's abilities, especially Yan Qing. He hadn't thought Lin Feng was so strong. The area is sealed. The others probably didn't think Lin Feng would be so strong and could kill a dozen low-level saints. But their allies will quickly find out they all died. "If high-level saints come, we're doomed," said Yan Qing. At that moment, many people who had just become saints appeared in the distance, but they stayed far away. They had seen the tragic battle a moment before. Lin Feng had killed everyone. They already told their allies about it, said Ho Qing Lin, glancing at those people. "We need to find a solution." "I'll go and try," said Lin Feng. Then he said to MOU, "You take care of those half-saints." "All right." MOU nodded. She was a low-level saint. She could easily destroy half-saints, even if there were a lot of them. Lin Feng took his boat and flew to the edge of the deployment spell. He shouted furiously and bombarded the deployment spell with his ruler's sword. However, it was useless. He couldn't break it. The original strength of a high-level saint was too powerful for him. "It seems like I have no choice. I need to ask a bestial saint for help, or we won't be able to break free. Or I could also gamble and hope that a high-level saint of the Fortune Shrine comes. Then it'd mean that we'd have to wait and see which high level comes first, ours or theirs," thought Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't feel like using another bestial saint though, as he could ask them for help only once. As he had expected, the news quickly spread into Yu City. The Fire Shrine quickly informed the other shrines. Lin Feng was different from the other enemies. At the top of a celestial fire mountain in the Fire Shrine, a strong cultivator was seated cross-legged. In front of him, light curtains appeared, showing different shrines' leaders. "Why did you summon us?" asked a cultivator wearing an empty space robe of the fire shrine's leader. He looked unhappy. "Haven't you heard the news? Lin Feng is in Diu City, and he killed a dozen of our low-level saints," said the fire shrine's leader. The other was astonished. Someone else asked, "So what?" "The forbidden body isn't the sole responsibility of the fire shrine. We're all responsible for getting rid of it." It was already difficult to convince the high-level bestial saints. The Lung clan had already been turned into a field of ruins. He had already killed all the saints. Lin Feng was convinced that these were severe losses for the fire shrine and the empty space shrine. "I wonder how the other battle is going," whispered Lin Feng. "Should we go and see?" said Mou. "No need. We can't join the high-level saints' battle. What just happened will quickly reach them. That way, I'm convinced the high-level saints will know when to move back," said Lin Feng. Mou nodded. She was curious though, where did the high-level Saint Lin Feng had called come from? Why had he just broken the seal and then left? She guessed Lin Feng had a treasure, but she couldn't ask him about that. Everybody had secrets. Lin Feng was just too mysterious. Somewhere in Diu City was a teleportation portal. At that moment, it twinkled. Empty space strength rolled in waves around it. Someone was coming from very far away. Many people noticed it in Diu City, including Lin Feng and the others. The teleportation portal didn't twinkle only once, but several times. Lin Feng and the others frowned. Mou pulled a long face. "There, it's a stationary base of the two shrines." "They possibly," whispered Mou. Her face stiffened. "Maybe they teleported directly from the shrines," said Lin Feng. "Yes. I didn't think they would pay so much attention to the battlefields of Diu City, to the extent that they would make a teleportation portal in the shrine to get here. The Fortune Shrine doesn't even have one," said Mou. She was annoyed. If strong cultivators can teleport directly from their shrines, then they're probably high-level saints. "We must inform the Fortune Shrine's masters and tell them we need to leave Diu City." "Leave?" Lin Feng was surprised. "We should, temporarily at least. We can't do much if they keep sending in new troops," said Mou. However, at that moment, in the distance, some dazzling lights appeared in the sky, and empty space strength appeared everywhere above Diu City. "What's that?" Mou was astonished. She shuddered with fear. A terrifying ocean of empty space was rolling in the sky. What was the empty space shrine doing? Chapter 2444. A deal with the peerless bestial Saint Lin Feng and the others raised their heads in awe. A gigantic web of lights appeared in the sky and covered the whole city. "It's a recording map," said Jun Emoshi, stunned. "Celestial sealing map." Mou trembled even more violently, her face pale. That was the legendary celestial sealing map of the empty space shrine. Celestial sealing map? Lin Feng looked surprised. He had read many books, he knew what the celestial sealing map was. It was an empty space treasure, it could seal gigantic regions, and at that moment, the empty space shrine was using it to seal Diu City. "The empty space shrine wants to seal the whole town," said Mou. Her mouth was wide open in shock. Strong cultivators from shrines had teleported to Diu City, and now they were sealing the city. Diu City was an almost insignificant battlefield to do such a thing. Maybe it was for Lin Feng. "Lin Feng, what do we do?" "They're probably coming for you," said Mou. She was panic-stricken. Lin Feng frowned and looked furious. The shrines were doing all they could to kill him once again. They even used the celestial sealing map. "Let's disperse," said Lin Feng to Mou and the others. He also thought the shrines were looking for him. He couldn't stay with Mou and the others, otherwise, they'd be in danger, too. "No, we need to ask the Fortune Shrine for help," said Ho Ching Lin. The Fortune Shrine would definitely help if the other shrines tried to kill Lin Feng. "No time anymore. Brother, you don't know how powerful the celestial sealing map is. Even if the Fortune Shrine sends some peerless saints, they won't be able to break it," said Lin Feng. Ho Ching Lin pulled a long face. The celestial sealing map was too powerful. Since the empty space shrine has the celestial sealing map, the fortune shrine must have terrifying items to resist as well, said Jun Nemoshi indifferently. The shrines all probably had trump cards. Indeed, said Ho Ching Lin nodding. Let's not think about that for now. You guys find a place to hide, gather with the other strong cultivators of the fortune shrine, said Lin Feng. He didn't let them talk, he continued. Anyway, they won't find me easily. After that, Lin Feng's silhouette flickered and he streaked across the sky. Mou and the others were stunned. He doesn't want us to be put in danger, whispered Mou, watching Lin Feng disappear into the distance. Ho Ching Lin clenched his fists. He felt powerless. He couldn't help his friend. On the contrary, if he stayed with Lin Feng, he would even be a burden. At that moment, many people raised their heads in Diyu City. Many strong cultivators knew that Diyu City had just been sealed. In a place where the qi was thick and rich, someone who had invited people for a banquet sensed that the area was being sealed. He raised his head and looked unhappy. Who did that? Guys, Lin Feng is the new master of the Star World. Give him face, said the old ox indifferently. One of them opened his eyes and glanced at Lin Feng. Lin Feng's soul shook under those eyes. Speak, said that cultivator indifferently. Master, the shrines might be sending some peerless saints to kill me. I need you to help me, said Lin Feng. Only peerless saints could help Lin Feng in such circumstances. Why? Asked that cultivator in a cold and detached way. Lin Feng replied calmly, the shrines have been chasing me because I have a forbidden body, and according to legends, it is said that if a forbidden person appears, the continent of the 9 clouds will sink into a state of chaos, and a new god might appear. You guys are all peerless saints, but you've been stuck at that cultivation level for a long time. If someday I become as strong as you or even stronger, I'll help you. A god is a concept you don't understand. Besides, it's not even sure you could become one, and if you did, it's not even sure you could help us. Even if you did reach that level, you wouldn't be willing to help anyway, said that cultivator indifferently. It made sense, but Lin Feng felt annoyed. Becoming a god was easier said than done. Besides, if someone became a god, would they be willing to help others become gods? Lin Feng sighed and said, since it's that way, I'm off. He sounded neither haughty nor humble and turned around. They didn't trust him, and he couldn't convince them. If it was his fate to die, then he was going to die. Wait, that cultivator said suddenly. Lin Feng turned back around and asked, Master, how may I help you? You're the new master of the Star World. If you become a high-level saint, I'll help you, said that cultivator calmly. Lin Feng was stunned. Did he have time to become a high-level saint? Diyu City was sealed. Shrines cultivators were coming. Did he have time to practice cultivation? I will do my best, said Lin Feng. If you don't trust yourself, why would we trust you? Said that person indifferently. He closed his eyes again. Lin Feng was stupefied. Chapter 2445. People's Plans and Actions. Lin Feng left the Star World, looking calm and detached. The empty space shrine's strong cultivators had decided to use the celestial sealing map, so peerless saints attacking were also a possibility. They had been a bit too careless this time when they had decided to attack the Lung clan. They had underestimated the fire shrine and the empty space shrine. Now Mou and Ho Ching Lin were in danger too, and Lin Feng had also been uncovered. Of course, Lin Feng hadn't thought the shrines would do so much to kill him. This time, Diyu City is completely sealed. Peerless saints could arrive anytime. All I need is time, thought Lin Feng. Even though peerless saints could inspect the whole town with their godly awareness, Diyu City was a big city. If they wanted to inspect the whole town, they would need time, too. Lin Feng needed to hide properly enough to save time. The most dangerous place is a place nobody would consider a good place to hide, thought Lin Feng. He changed his face, body, and qi, and then disappeared from there. Diyu City was sealed, and the strong cultivators from the shrines who had teleported there were already looking for Lin Feng. Even if they couldn't find Lin Feng, they would try to find members of the Fortune Shrine to kill them. That way, they wouldn't waste time, but they'd also be able to take over Diyu City. Peerless saints didn't really care about such things. If it wasn't for Lin Feng, no peerless saint would have come. Peerless saints were the most precious cultivators of the shrines. Shrines didn't have many peerless saints, they were extremely rare. Besides, they stood aloof from worldly affairs, and they didn't listen to anyone's orders. Everybody was very polite to peerless saints. At that moment, Officer Qin Yi and the others were being chased. The battles were fierce. Mou also fought against other people. "Disperse, some people are coming to help them, we can't fight forever," shouted Officer Qin Yi to the members of the Fortune Shrine. The others retreated. However, their enemies continued chasing them. They were wasting time and weren't in a rush to win the battles. They followed Mou closely. "Mou, seal," shouted someone. It was Lin Feng's voice. Mou was surprised. She nodded and sealed the area. The strong cultivator who Mou was fighting against was surprised. He turned around and saw a dazzling sword. He didn't have time to react and was killed. He had thought the sword wasn't close yet. "Lin Feng, how come you're back already?" asked Mou. She didn't understand and pulled a long face. Lin Feng couldn't show up. "Lin Feng will leave with his boat. Help me do something," Lin Feng said to her telepathically. Mou nodded and replied, "All right, I hope you can deceive them." Chapter 2446. Difference between cultivators who are high-level saints. Qiong Fan's eyes twinkled and he said, "Let's go and greet that supreme cultivator," said Qiong Fan, flying away. His people followed him. They also wanted to see the supreme cultivator who was in Diyu City. Usually, the supreme cultivator was in a good mood. He wanted to settle in Diyu City. Ordinary didn't care about the shrine's battles. He was convinced the shrines wouldn't dare attack him anyway, therefore, he had invited many old and new friends. But Ordinary was annoyed because Diyu City had been sealed, so some of his friends whom he had invited would probably be stuck outside. It ruined his mood. The shrines really like to act without the slightest scruple. Not only did they seal Diyu City, but they also inspected the whole town with their godly awareness. "And now they're coming to us," said Ordinary unhappily. Master Ordinary, the shrines are arrogant and disdain people, since they rule over the continent of the 9 clouds. Anything that poses a threat to them must be destroyed," someone smiled. That person looked sharp, his chi was powerful and golden lights twinkled around him. "We're lucky we got out of that devilish place. We have mountains and rivers and we're drinking alcohol, that's awesome," said another one smiling. "Indeed. We should be happy, let's forget about them, cheers." Ordinary smiled back. After a short time, a loud voice sounded about them. "Qiong Fan from the Fire Shrine, I'm here to greet you, Your Excellency." "Since you're here, come in," said Ordinary indifferently. A group of strong cultivators came in, Qiong Fan leading the group. He glanced at them, smiled, and nodded at Ordinary. "Sorry for disturbing you during your banquet, Your Excellency." "Since you're here, have a few drinks with us," said Ordinary indifferently. Qiong Fan glanced at Ordinary and the others, hiding his surprise. Apart from Ordinary, there was a cultivator as strong as him, and there was Ao Songhai too. "All right, thank you for your hospitality," said Qiong Fan, looking for a place to sit. He had to give them a little face as he disturbed them, after all, and it was a sensitive period. He didn't want to offend such people. He didn't mind chatting with Ordinary, who was a supreme cultivator. Li Xiao was there too, but his social status was rather low, and he wasn't strong enough. He stayed far away. He looked around and saw many strong cultivators. When facing peerless saints, he had nothing to say, he had to obey when they talked. At that moment, the person everybody was looking for was in Li Xiao's ring. The sword Mou had given to Li Xiao was bathed in lights. Lin Feng was in the star world. The solution Lin Feng had imagined was joining one of his enemies, hiding the star world in one of his enemies' rings. Finding him wouldn't be easy there.